I make them fear me. You little bitch, nigga, do you hear me? Where's this bitch, nigga, do you hear me? Now I got my belt, nigga, you can't get near me. But the ass when we step in the ring. Match look good while I'm doing my thing. Feeling like clay, I need a ring. So up every day, I got like, bitch, get out your feelings. Like, Leon, I heard you was lying. Kicking a bum, you better not try it. I be the new nigga ass without trying. I be this, that's so bad, he's crying. Like, nigga better stop crying. Copping my brother, I know he on time. See this bill around my waist, white thing, I be shining. Like, you see a girl on my waist. These new niggas better get out the way. Like, I'ma just find where he stay. Better go on mute before I kick off his face. I ain't gon' lie, I'm super fan made. Niggas be talking and judging their face. We see my homie ain't judging no face. Work shit, show up every day. Every shot I be making it lit. Kick off his head if he talking shit. No shit, bum, bitch. They can't win a mess, so why they talking shit? Nigga a loser, get off my dick. Nigga, get off my dick. Nigga a loser, get off my dick. Kick it, stop making trash ass fit. Oh, he want a problem? Like, I bet I got me a fit. They down my name, but nigga, I'm a tick. They be down my body until they get kicked. Don, tell these new niggas to chill. Like, they don't not know it get real. Got hit with a scoop, get out the field. Bro, this nigga ass was talking no real. Like, what? Nigga got put on the list like 4 times, but he still be talking shit. You listen, get off your knees. I already told you stop sucking that dick. No diddy. These niggas hating no John cause you lit it. You WA, you ran the city. We reppin' the brain, you know it get go.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, old buddy Don, checking in for another day of UWA. And today, it's a special one. We are officially at the Elimination Chamber. This is our pay-per-view before the fucking WrestleMania, bro. Like, it's really about to be fucking over for season 2. Right around the fucking corner. Last month, just riding this shit out. So, some good news today. The Tribal Chief is on the spin wheel. And
Tribal Chief's on the chopping block, niggas.
yeah, so I got all the names on this spin wheel. I'm gonna read them out and make sure everybody's on there, and then we're gonna get this shit and we're going straight into this elimination chamber, bro.
Like 16 people, bro.
Let me see. Let me check this out.
There's a lot of
Let me
people.
see.
I ain't gonna lie. I hope if I don't get it, I hope we get it. I hope no random in my fucking chamber
Here we
has
go.
that, nigga.
We
I'm
got
not going to lie.
we got The Rock, we
Bye.
got John Cena, we got Great Muta, we got AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, DDP,
My niggas who don't
what's his
even
name?
beat
Muhammad
Why
Ali,
your mama ain't do your hair?
Greatness.
Yeah,
We
Sean,
got-
do your
I'm
damn
a-
Oh no,
do-
hell no. Why is greatness in there?
Greatness, CM Punk, Uncle Howdy. I got you, bro. I got you, bro. I'm put you in there. Damian Priest, Randy Orton, World Star.
facts, bro.
I told World Star to
Damn,
rag, and I thought he
shouldn't be
wasn't,
in
but
there.
I told him to do it.
If I shouldn't be in there, you damn sure
What's
shouldn't be in
what's
there.
your name? What's your name? What's your character? Sammy?
Sammy.
Is he sure it's not in there?
Yeah, no.
Let me make sure.
Yeah.
Oh, he ain't in there. All right,
Oh,
here
you
we go.
gonna
The
give
first.
everybody-
Here we go. The
Bullshit.
person that is going to be
I don't even
getting
see my name up there, motherfucker.
Randy Orton. Randy O. That's yours right there.
Oh,
Yeah, I put the
Randy O.
superstar names.
I
All right,
see.
so here we go. The person, and I'm not gonna say it either. I'm not gonna say unless it's me. That's the only way I'm
I ain't
saying
gonna
it.
lie. It's gonna
Yeah.
be DDP.
Yeah, if it's
Niggas gonna
me,
get Randy.
and let's go. The wheel is
Hey,
spun.
let me get that DDP. Let me go and go to switches. What
Damn.
the
You
fuck?
Oh my
only-
god!
you
You
only want
again?
him.
Didn't I?
I told y'all.
Dawn? Didn't we say it was gonna be
Yeah,
Julie or
yeah, we did. Let me go ahead and put him on the wheel.
Bro, what the fuck? Are we
Yeah,
doing
let me
that?
put him on the
I
wheel.
traded
Really?
with quads. I traded with quads.
No.
Check my switch.
No, you only traded
That
with
is
me.
blaze as fuck.
no?
I traded with quads. Check my switch. Check my trade. I traded with quads.
Nah, you can't do that, Brody.
Yes,
No.
I did.
Yeah.
I told Don it's exactly what I was gonna do.
Mike,
Yeah, you
check
got- you got-
zero.
You don't have
got-
Muhammad Ali. He don't have Muhammad Ali.
Nah, I'm fucking with y'all, nigga.
Yo,
Alright,
you
so-
you only
so
traded.
might as well
You only
go.
All
traded.
right.
with
Well,
Zach.
Hey,
congratulations,
hey, hey,
Yuli. You always win. They said you was gonna win.
Let's
Like about 5 people said you was gonna win. Yeah,
Hey, Yuli. Hey, Yuli. Didn't I say it was gonna be?
yeah. Just said it.
Yes, mama.
Like
So
just
you're
said it.
telling me
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
odds of
Wait till
you
we get home.
walking out UWA heavyweight champion just got bumped?
Just
from
got
like
higher. Yeah,
10
just
to
got a little higher.
33.
I'm gonna put up Muhammad, and then by the next show, Muhammad gonna be on there. Sorry.
You know what's gonna happen?
Next show?
Mhm.
They're gonna target Yuli now at that point. You know that's what's
They
gonna
gonna-
What you want me to give? What you want me to give it? 5 minutes or something, and then spin it again?
One out.
Don't do
Yeah,
no
might as well. Shit.
We're spinning in
Right now,
5.
I'm
I'm
Spin
trying
on
to
Yeah.
me
get
right now.
going.
It's
not
spin
trying to
Ali
be
right
here
now.
all fucking night.
I don't. Yeah, get Ali out of here, bro.
See.
All right, fuck
You
it.
want me-
Everybody that's still on this
Yeah.
spinning wheel, everybody
Same
still
people,
want
yeah.
Ali. Same people
Oh.
just set Yuli off.
Same people.
There
Let's
you go.
see.
There you go.
No,
Don,
I don't
just
want
go
him.
right there.
I don't want him.
I'll take
All right,
Ali.
well,
Put me on the Ali spin. Fuck it.
I'm not gonna bid on Ali one, but I see two people already done did it.
Yeah,
What's his
yeah.
name?
Yeah.
Yuli won. Muhammad. I mean,
Okay,
that's his name. Roman.
okay, so Weezy don't want him. Weezy don't want him.
Yeah.
Don don't want him. And Leon don't want him. Them the names you gotta take off.
And Vortex.
Let me see. It's looking like
Yeah,
only
and that
four.
guy.
Yeah, it's looking like only four.
Yeah, it's only 4 people.
I'm gonna run this thing real quick. I'm gonna set in this matchup, and then is anybody that's reacted in this fucking match though? See how B Dog is. All right, I'm gonna run this little thing real quick, and then we're gonna set this matchup just so I can give people a little bit of time.
Bro. I'll change my mind.
Elimination Chamber.
This can't even be
That's
me
so
this time.
unprofessional.
Wait,
No,
so
not
wait.
not-
How are we doing the
You're
order?
done.
Like, is it just a random
It's just
order?
random, bro. It's just
nah,
random, bro.
I think
Random.
what the soundboard
Chamber's
was,
random.
It's random.
when
It's a
someone
vacant
was
title,
like-
bro. It's random.
It was
I
it
know,
was someone's
I didn't
entrance.
think
Order.
out the way or-
Oh, my stomach, bro.
All right, here we go. This is for Muhammad
Dom, my
Ali,
name,
and
my
then
name,
join the
my
match.
name, my name,
Oh,
Dom,
hold
my
on.
name,
I
my
thought
name.
was your name? I could have sworn I seen 4 people. Yours wasn't on here.
Oh,
Hey,
shit, I was
Dom,
supposed
and then
to
we're on there.
react.
Dom,
Oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I stick with KO.
Who was that?
Wood've.
JBL.
Yeah,
That's
I put my
Wood've.
name on that bitch as well. Dom.
Wood've?
Hey, don't matter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
Hey,
Wood've.
hey,
It's
I
a
reacted,
Wood've.
I reacted.
It's too late.
I reacted.
Yeah, too late, bro.
Hey,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Would have
Yeah,
win?
yeah Wood've won. Yeah,
Delta, Shocker. I reacted
that's
straight
for
away.
Muhammad Ali though. Wood've.
It wasn't on that bitch, bro.
Oh, wait, what?
That's for Muhammad Ali.
I reacted straight away.
That nigga thought he had Roman.
91 Roman. 91 Roman.
All right, so the
everybody knows
global,
what I'm
yeah, so the
doing.
global is ready. Y'all can join in for everybody that got.
That nigga thought he won Roman.
Delta.
He was happy as
91
fuck.
Roman.
Delta,
Yo.
I don't want
Yo,
you in this
yo,
match,
Dom.
but I'm gonna put you in this match. Come on.
Wait, what?
Hey,
You heard
y'all
me.
better
Oh,
make this
damn.
one. Y'all better make
You
this
got
one a quick
Roman?
one, bro.
I'm gonna make this
Yuli.
quick.
Hey, yo,
Now I'm gonna
Dom,
give
what
Malik a
about that?
WrestleMania moment.
My shit started working.
I got
You
the
said what?
Ali, Yuli. I mean, not.
I said we can run that match after.
Okay,
Ali.
okay,
I don't
bet,
want
bet, bet,
Ali.
bet.
No,
Bet.
I got Randy, nigga. What up?
Yeah, I'm
I got
second
Roman
that.
Hey,
though.
Don.
What do you mean?
Hey, Don.
Yes.
What's up? I got the punt
Put a
kick,
poll
bro.
on your match
Come
with
on now.
Sinbad, please.
95.
Okay, I
How
will.
many-
I will.
I got 95 kick
No,
out.
no.
97
got
overall.
How
95
many?
kick out.
How many diamond cutters you give him?
You didn't know
fucking
that?
weak,
Damn,
bro.
how many times
Bro,
will it
who we
take? How
waiting
long
on,
will it
bro?
take
We're waiting
to
on
win
2
the
people.
match?
I'm
Fuck.
joining.
Yuli.
Wait,
Wait, what is this
Take your-
for?
Yo, Yuli.
This one is the
Here, bro.
global, bro.
Mr. Global.
Yo,
what the
Yuli.
Who was the last person we're waiting for? Oh my
Appreciate
Did
you,
god.
y'all
follow.
did y'all honor the trade or
This
you
guy's
actually want him
coming.
to
I'm
win?
joining.
No, he actually
This
won him. He
guy's
actually won him.
insane.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
they
wow.
did trade, nigga.
Yeah, he got Sammy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sammy, Kevin.
I'm getting.
But
my
yeah, I didn't
diamond
honor that.
back.
That was a troll thing he had
Alright,
put in there.
Okay.
Well, it's time to
Okay.
mute. It's time to mute everybody.
Yuli, you see that?
All right, so
Mhm.
remember,
I got an offer. I got.
yeah, beat up. Pick the regular one. Pick the regular, just so this thing
Not
can
going
run
for it.
smooth, yo. All right,
I
everybody,
seen
that's
it.
them good. They all 3 good. You're
Mine's
good.
Mine's fine.
And Delta, pick
Mine's
the
fine.
regular
Hold
Triple
on,
H,
watch
bro.
this, though. Watch this.
What do you see?
Thank you. Everybody, payback's good. All right, we good. And this one is for the vacant global title. Somebody finna walk out of here with a good ass pick, but somebody is gonna be irrelevant on because he already had it before. So yes, he can either
Yeah.
earn it back
Damn.
or somebody finna
Long
get a
and pray
good
don't win
pick.
this.
I
That's
should have
what
been in
it's
the
down
heavyweight,
to.
but it's okay. Not like I whooped your ass, Don.
Oh
Kiss
wow.
my ass.
I shot for him.
Oh, and I'm last good.
Where's Don last? That works. That works. Don
He
last.
said shocker.
I always start chambers.
This is my second ever match in this game
Match break.
on my retirement, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just run me up after. This 30-second interval, so y'all can be out there
Nice.
pretty quick.
Let's go, Don. Thank you, bro.
Yo.
What's good?
What's up,
combo?
combo? What's up, combo? Baby?
What's his
Yuli.
name? Did Yuli did?
Yo, Yuli, how you feel,
Damn, on
bro?
Unifake, it's like you want B-Dog to
I
win
know,
this
this
title.
Like money needs to be changed.
Oh yeah, you do, don't you? Let me go and get you.
Hey yo, was Quaz here, bro?
Yeah, he's here. He's Uncle Howard.
Still Muhammad Ali and Nia Jax.
I don't know if this is a show of confidence or a
He got
wasted
9 ejects of
opportunity
his
to
name.
attack your opponent. Gets inside the ring. Oh, an eye rake. That's not right, but effective.
No, you want Roman? What's up?
Okay, I guess I'm out the ring then.
You talking to me?
ACG on Damon.
Get him, Delta. Triple H's time has come in the chamber.
What that nigga? Hey, what that nigga Malik say? Go to 25.
Then
You said, "Oh, Orion, we got somebody that sent a message just for you. It said Orion is Irish. It said Orion is Irish. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna put the poll up.
Hey, dog.
you got it. Bet. Yeah, what's up?
What's up with this uni chamber, bro?
What's up? You like it?
What happened to all three of us in separate chambers? What happened, bro?
No, I said in the chamber of my choosing. I said the chamber of my choosing. Hey, rumors float around. Maybe I would throw out there a little rumor, but hey, you see what's on the match card.
Look at all these tryhards in these bitches. That's cool.
Wait, you wanna got Ali?
You got Leon.
Hey, think about it like this. You remember it was two parts of that. It was two parts of the promo. It was two parts. I said somebody not gonna have a WrestleMania. I said two of y'all ain't gonna have a WrestleMania moment. And then I said, what else? It's gonna be in a chamber of my choosing. Hey, somebody ain't gonna matter. It's a TB, you, Henny, we. Oh, this one. Oh, this one. Oh, it's what's their name? Okay, so Malik was supposed to be in this, but we just had to switch him out. I'm gonna get WrestleMania, but it's Orion, Vortex, B-Dog, who was that? Delta, and who was that? Dezo. And I'm not in it. Stardio was in it, but he's not here. That's why I had him in. Because I was gonna give him this and then possibly, go and call out one of those top guys. What's wrong with Nia Jax? Yeah.
They canceled the division.
Supposed to be Stardio and what's the face though?
The division is canceled. That's what's wrong with it, Don.
Bro, what are you doing, bro? Get that canceled.
No, to the end of the year.
It's not canceled, it's just to next year. That's it. Yeah, what's up?
You know what I'm saying, though.
I got you.
You can roll me up. Go ahead. Or whoever can, come my way first.
I just need to let.
It's time for Kevin Owens to make an impact in the Elimination Chamber.
Are you saying everybody in here is a jobber? Everybody? Oh, okay, look at that. Jesus Christ, already. I ain't even get to come the hell out.
Come on, bro.
Already. I ain't even get to come out.
In this match. Who took
Damn,
30
this
spot?
doing there.
I ain't even get to come out.
The 5-man chamber.
There's a 5-man.
5, man. Why not throw ACG in there? You threw Delta in there.
What?
And who gonna stream it?
You splitting the matchup
Yeah,
already
who's
like
gonna
that,
stream?
no?
Who gonna stream it?
I know ACG will go ahead and stream that match. He ain't gonna have no match if you don't fight him there.
ACG's got a title match.
He got the title match already.
He's defending
Yes,
his title.
against Delta. Why is
there's
Delta?
30 of them.
Oh, look, there's Stardio.
There's never mind.
Oh, there, go right there.
Oh,
AC
I
Delta,
was
sit
fighting
down.
for you. I was fighting
That
for you.
nigga,
My
that
bad.
nigga said, hey,
Wait,
Delta.
what y'all
talking about?
Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. You still got a title match though, Delta, but this one,
Hey,
yes,
hey,
go
are
sit
you-
down,
hey,
bro.
Alex,
See how
you
your
here?
first title defense
Yeah,
is in
what's
emoji,
up?
man?
It's your match.
You gotta go
I
this
hate
my
him.
match.
Hey.
Come on. Yeah, let's go.
Hey, what match is first?
Y'all
What match is
started
first?
without me. Oh, y'all was about to
We
start
was,
without
yeah,
me.
we
I
was.
know, I was
We
cleaning
was.
my
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were
I'm
about
a
to, but
responsible young man.
hey, you know who was gonna replace you, nigga? A fucking
Delta.
AI Delta. No, not even
Wow.
Delta. AI.
An AI.
Delta, you gonna let them talk to you like that? Damn, you gonna let them talk
Hey,
like that? They
Don.
call you AI.
Yeah, what's
free.
up?
I know
He said
Delta.
battle of the
already
low
now.
tiers. I'm fucking dead.
Delta got
What's up?
false
What's
hope.
up, Quas?
What match is first?
This one is the global
Did
first.
anybody tag me or was y'all
What
about
are you
to just do
talking
my
about?
The
fight?
Discord was
I know,
broke
man.
at the time. Discord was broke.
Bro, yeah, Discord was broke.
Hell
But that's
no.
crazy.
They was gonna run that bitch without
That's
you.
crazy.
No, Discord was broke.
Hey, Stereo. I tried to tell them nigga, Tuesdays is your only day off. They
I'm
want to
winning the
listen.
quarter.
Why y'all think he got me?
Discord was
But
broke,
niggas
bro.
fucking Crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, this gonna work
Crazy.
both though.
It's the quarter.
I
You
couldn't say
leaving
Niggas
on,
dick sucking.
I'm winning
Niggas
the
dick sucking
quarter.
because Yuli didn't say shit about.
It's like you
tagging
leaving
me.
on the
He
quarter.
did, and then he talking. He doing all this, and he didn't tag not one time.
I'm
I
not gonna
said
hold you though.
fucking
I'm
play
off on
ACG in there.
Thursdays too now, so what's good?
Yeah,
Here.
it's your match now. It's yours now, though. It's yours now. You could join in.
We could
It's
just
not
start
letting
over.
me. I need to invite.
You could do it. You do it. Yeah, doing it. I said it too early.
You don't
You
get
can
no
do it.
invites. You know that.
My invites are
Gotta
broken.
start this shit over, bro.
Niggas invites
From
are
the first
broken
quarter to the
somehow.
end, because I gotta make a trade anyway.
Wait,
All
oh,
right,
what
this
the Don
one,
is you
yes.
participating in
No,
this?
no,
I
no,
hit
no.
something, bro. I just
I'm just.
remembered
You could
something.
just roll me up whatever
Oh, it's only
order I come
God.
out.
It's only
That's what
5
I'm
of
at there
us.
for.
It's
Yeah,
something
just
that I
5. Yeah,
remember I
God.
need off the
Okay.
bat.
God, please do not let me.
It
and
says it's
Sergio
supposed to be
start this
6
shit
of us
off.
though.
it is, but I'm getting
Please
Malik a
do not let me
WrestleMania
and
moment.
I don't
Sergio
want to
start
start
this
this
shit
shit
off.
off at all.
Hell yeah,
Nigga,
bro.
What?
Sergio, I was
Bro, you could have got Luka.
Sergio,
You could have went to
Sergio,
go play
look,
with
What's
Luka
up?
me and
and
you,
LeBron.
look, I was the
I
last
hope
person.
you and Sergio start that shit
It's,
though.
Shut your
it's,
bitch ass
What's
up.
going
I'm
on?
talking to you. Shut up, bitch.
Damn.
Bitch, you ain't beat me this year.
I mean,
bitch.
I
But
mean,
you
we
beat me
don't do the chamber.
twice.
We can
you,
always do.
you ain't
Do I
gonna
have
be
to
able
That's
to
do
right.
play
Wait,
with
AJ Styles.
Send better Dawn?
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
at
you
it.
gotta beat. Yeah.
How do y'all know who arguing with who? Like how do y'all
I
know
don't
this?
really hear
sorry,
nothing.
That's
Everybody's
what I'm
talking, bro.
saying. How do y'all know who talking to who?
But me and ACG know we talking to each other.
That's what I was thinking. Like, how did y'all respond?
What?
Join, fucking
Yeah,
badass.
who else we waiting on? Okay, B Dog
You got the nerve to
and
talk about somebody being fat.
who else?
Huh.
Who else we waiting
I
on?
know you're not
Damn.
talking.
I know you ain't talking. What the hell? No, we ain't gonna do fat shaming right here. Come on, man.
Hold on, who are we waiting on?
We got two. We
Shit,
got some
already
people that's
bro.
on their way up,
Me.
man.
Oh,
My
Orion,
bad.
come on, bro.
My
Bring
bad,
yourself.
my bad, my bad, my bad.
Damn,
So
fat shaming that
it
big
say it's supposed to
25.
be 6 people in here though, don't it?
Yeah, but I'm giving Malik his WrestleMania moment. I'm gonna give him a WrestleMania moment.
Who not making it?
Malik, I'm giving him a WrestleMania
Oh.
moment.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
We're not going to the next year after this.
Good. I'm not gonna lie. Malik kick out too much. Orion kick out
Why?
too much. Vortex kick out too much.
B
B-Dog.
Dog, B Dog kick out too much too.
B-Dog, we gotta team
He
up.
do too. Yeah, he do too.
B-Dog,
I believe that, bro.
B-Dog, Dez, we gotta team up.
Hold on.
Yep,
Is
yep,
that
I agree
Sergio
with
talking about picking up?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
I'm
sir.
really
Get
like-
out.
Every time. Every
Yeah.
time. Every fucking time. Every fucking time. Doesn't fucking matter.
Look, I was last this match too.
Hey, I'm happy with my entrance. I'm happy
Yeah.
with my entrance.
Remember, Sturdio, this is not your like pick on which one you choosing. This just something to pick,
But
something to get in the meanwhile.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I can have so you won't have
Man, I hype you gotta take a shit.
better on my team today.
You still got a match. You still got a match, Delta. You still got to fight ACG.
What's
just
the
take care
entrance?
of
What's the entrance interval?
30.
This 30 seconds.
Oh, 30? Yeah, I have to
Like
take
I
a
found
shit,
my
but
player
that's
that
Hey,
you
I ain't
can't
gonna lie
touch
to
it.
you. You got my word. I will try my hardest.
Yeah, cause you know they coming. You know they coming. They coming. Definitely when it's a title match, they coming Sturdio. I'm just gonna say, I've done it before.
What the fuck? This is not Naruto.
One of them.
But I'm saying that
Get him,
the
B-Dog,
kids
get
taking
him.
too fucking long.
He said, "Fuck that." He playing.
Nah, he playing. Yeah, I finna say he gonna try and play
That's
strategic.
it.
He waiting for.
B-Dog not here.
What you waiting for me?
B-Dog not here. B-Dog not here.
Oh, that's necessarily what it said.
He probably ain't here.
TV all
I'm
day.
pretty sure he. I'm pretty sure he here.
Somebody punch him.
B Dog, you here?
Roll his ass up though. I ain't about it.
Oh, there you go. Look at him. Look.
I won't roll his ass up. See, look.
Nah, he was here the whole time. He was just sitting there listening.
You trying to fucking cheese me, huh? You trying to beat me up while I'm not here? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm not here.
I just come out, by the way, right? I just
Try to cheat, man.
Oh, pissed.
Brady, I'm gonna come in the ring. You roll me up, right? Do not punch me, get no bars and all this stuff. Don't do none of that.
Brady, you ain't bothering. You ain't sucking, man.
Look at this man.
You ain't bothering, bro.
I don't know. Y'all know he easily influenced. He'll do it now. Look, you know he easily influenced. Look, he want to now. Orion, I had B Dog do it. I had the ref do it. Come on over here, Orion. Roll me up, bro. There you go. Thank you, bro.
Don't get eliminated, bro. I'ma help you, bro. They kick out guys, but we gotta beat them. We gotta beat them
For
up.
real, I ain't gonna lie. Who is that? Nigga, you ain't
I'm not. I'm done. I'm done. Bro,
Yeah, man, that might have been the shortest time in a
Bro, they
fucking
kick out
chamber
more.
match.
Man,
bro.
kiss
You
my
gotta
ass, man. Kiss my ass.
Fucking multi-man.
Nigga, that's why you
Hey,
was
I'm
last
done.
match you was in. Shit, that's why you was
Yeah,
last match.
We don't see that one all the time.
They didn't wanna fight me. They gotta beat me.
Hey,
See, why do Great Muta?
Yeah, what's up?
See, why do Great Muta and Sami Zayn have full health right now? They not punching on each other. They trying to punch on B-Dog. B-Dog run, bro. They jumping, bro.
Oh,
I see that, bro. I'm not lying to you. I
they've
see
been
that.
fighting the whole time.
You can run outfield. If you're the only two left in the match, you can
So there, which one you going after? Which one you going after?
They about to pump his
I'm
ass
going
out.
after Great Muda.
Oh, Muda? Oh, no, look, Sammy coming to meet you. Look.
Cuz you was fucking that multi-bed try to build some bullshit. What's up, Vortex?
You can't get his target. Yeah. Andre. Inactives like characters?
Yeah.
Plenty. What you want?
Vortex, we can be friends.
This is right.
We can be great.
It's a lot. Yokozuna, he's open. Who else? It's a couple good more people. I'm trying to think. JBL, he's open. I would have said Superstar Billy Graham, but you know, I think he's taken now.
No, I don't have the deal.
Andre the Giant. Oh, you got Supercharge? That's like the Legend Pack thing. You can get them with with in-game money too though. You can just play singles matches and get them. I think they're like 1,000 VC or something. Okay. Okay, yeah. You don't need a DLC 100. What was I about to say? Well, everybody in it now. Now it's the Fiend is. I think it just fake broke. Did it just fake break?
Is this what you really want, Brady, or do you want to finish fighting?
Stone Cold. I would have said. Shit. What character just got open out of there? Undertaker. I believe he is. He's open. Nobody playing him. And some characters get buffed too. Trick Williams is open.
You already said new season.
I'm gonna be Taker.
Oh, you want to be Undertaker? Okay. Bet. I'm going to change your name now.
You already said different. You can't keep switching that shit.
Oh my god. Alright, whoever gets in this ring next is getting punched on by yours.
Oh, nigga.
You got a full green ball.
Which Taker's better? Oh, no,
I have no idea. It's just different ones, but like whatever one you're comfortable with. It's a different kind. I just don't think this. I don't think any of them got that spinning tombstone anymore. I don't think any of them got that. Yeah, that's the only thing that. Yeah, if he had that, I think a lot of people would have been on him. Oh yeah, the super, yeah. And one of them got two super fins. One of them got two. Do Kane at least got that spinning thing, or they just took that shit off of everybody? Oh, bruh, that shit, yeah, bruh, you can pop that bitch out anywhere.
Yo, this the global thing?
Yeah, this is a global, yeah. What you see some Kung Fu with people hanging up at the top and shit. Oh, B-Dog said he got balls. Look at him.
Nah, the red pants and CM Punk. You can't see nothing
Oh, Ryan, yeah. Oh, Ryan and B-Dog, yeah. Just red pants. What you say? What's gonna go, B-Dog? Let me give you an in-match interview. What's gonna go with?
No, I just saw both of them.
I got 30 over.
Bro, they wasn't even jumping you, and I see you jumping to conclusions. The poll, I think, is already done. I could do another one, though. It is on Dez, I think. I could do another one, though. Yeah, I could do another one, though.
Dump that nigga, bro. Y'all dump. Y'all better jump this nigga.
Hey.
Hey, Ryan, bro, please.
Oh, deafening blow to the chest. Targeting the throat there.
I don't even know how I did it. Did I actually? Not me. Not me.
Get him. This could be
Vortex, help.
Get him. I didn't even hit that. Why did I do it? He's making it, bro. Oh my.
He's a fucking man. And that's why you
You know
always
what's
do
so
it.
fucking funny?
Why?
I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Organic. No, hell no. No.
There you go. I put another one up, Ewan. There's another prediction up. Good kick out.
You did, bro. You
And
had 18
count ref
I'm sorry.
for the 1, 2. Good kick out.
You shoot the ball, bro.
Damn, bro. I gotta get my points back right here.
Oh yeah, this is the thing we've been hearing backstage too. This is pretty much some people's last opportunity to get anything. So if they don't win it here, their WrestleMania moment is pretty much over. Like, you know where you're gonna pretty much place for next season. Pretty much, you already gonna know. Yeah. I told you you had Iron Sheik or you had Booker T. Which one did you want? I feel it. Somebody got me on the echo. I didn't know you could pull him down from that. Jump. It stun him. Now, there you go. Oh, you had to aim it at the wrong person. If you jump on Orion right now, it's gonna stun him or Vortex. Instant stun. Bam, there you go, right there. Perfect person. Oh, he trying to get everything. Oh, he's still gonna get pinned. For the 1, 2, oh, good kick out. Does anybody shit broke besides B-Dogs?
Is your plan a team of B-Dogs?
Is any no, matter of fact, B-Dog shit not broke either. I think it's your momentum because I just seen yours.
Throw that shit at me. Oh, you got like full health.
Damn, Nia Jackson the showcase.
Yeah, you seen that?
Oh, he whiffing. Go ahead and get some of that action, all right? Go chase him down next time. He done ran a whole lap around now. Bruh, so that mean Rosie and Jamal. Yeah, bruh, hold on. Are you for real? Hold on, wait a minute. 3-minute warning, bro.
That's what Xavier said.
3-minute warning. Bruh, that's when they was at, that's when they was going crazy.
Oh my God.
But
Go ahead, Vortex, get some of that action.
I know, right? I'm texting my mom back.
Oh, okay.
Page in the background of my video.
Why can't I get in the ring?
Dunker better be over him. Dunker better be higher overall than him.
Whoever making them ratings gotta be a young person.
I told you they throwing darts at the damn board, and whatever it land on, it just dead. Yeah, some ratings done dropped. And do y'all think they dropping some tonight though? Like tonight?
Live a 99. I'm at 91. That's cool.
Let me get on this shit. Yeah, it was good, bro.
I fuck with EO being at 89.
That's the free camera. That's just fine.
We could have
shit.
all of the fucking Samoan people. I hate the fact that Uncle Howard
One.
Break it.
All right, that's your Rizu. Nope, that's your Rizu. Good shit, Des. Yeah, you was almost out of there. Okay, you pulling that shit out now, Sturdio. You pulling that shit now. You say you can't wait for the next game? Hey, we all ready for the season 3, bro. We all ready for the next game. We all ready. Oh, Buddy Don. It's my same name. Oh, shit. And it's in our airing programs, too. That's where you found it. You say, yes, I am number 1. Weezy with the trolling shit.
Oh my God.
One more move, and he could be in critical condition. Oh, he said, hell no. He said, take him over from there. And the SIG is in motion. You see. Yeah, it's working. It's working. The shit. The shit. Yeah. I thought that was it too.
Oh my god, it made me nervous.
Why does Vito get the super?
It's not worth it.
He ain't hit shit. That's why he ain't hit shit. He ain't hit nothing. He ain't hit nothing. Literally nothing. And for the Blue Thunder. Appreciate it, fella.
Everyone look at Kevin Owens' house, please.
That's the rezeal for CM Punk. Okay, well, you let him cook him. And you help Orion. Well, him too. Yeah, him too. Yeah, but him too. Yeah.
Brady, we need to
Tight. Tight.
You beat Orion ass, I'll be dead. Okay, keep doing that. Come on, bro, fight me.
For the Outlaw Stomps. Let's go. The Sturdio?
Oh, yes.
Sturdio said, you remember what happened with 2 weeks ago, last week? He said he beat you on his return match. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. He said,
Yeah, you just trying to, you can see
hey, he's telling you to choose the right person. He's telling you to choose the right person. Is he jumping? Oh yeah, he gonna jump. Yeah, he finna jump. Yeah, he finna jump on Sturdy. Oh no, he getting down. Oh, he wanted to sig. Oh, I see oh, you ain't getting, oh, you ain't got shit. You part Rezil. B-Dog. Yeah, he part Rezil. Qualified something. Nope, never mind. He got it himself. B-Dog, you should have hit Sturdio. And look at this on the outside. Oh, he said come get that fan out there. Look. For the 1, 2, and that's your moment. Good fight, man. That's your moment. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that, bro. I swear I didn't mean it like that, bro. Well, you know at least where you place for next season, so that's you know where you place. Yeah. 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 Only thing this is for you, not Orion. Vortex was to be blocking motion. That's pretty much what you're supposed to be doing in this match. But you was the first one out, so it ain't no blocking nothing. Oh, he ain't getting stunned either. Look at him. Look at him. Run. Reverse that shit. Run. Go. Oh, shit. B-Dog gonna meet you over there. He gonna meet you up there. It don't matter now. He finna just fall. Yo. Jumped in the ring. Come on, Orion. This your match, bro. Orion, this is for you, bro. This for you.
I'd rather be me and Sturdy last than these two niggas.
One of them two need to take each other out. Y'all two take each other out. One of y'all take each other out. Oh, never mind. He tried to go in there and do that. Yeah, but Vito tried to go in there and hit him with the damn GTS. Oh, damn. Okay, let him know. Let him know. Let him know. Let him know. Let us know, Sturdio.
Oh my god.
All right, there you go. You said what? No, was you gonna say anything?
Yeah, was you gonna say?
Oh, did you? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear nothing either.
I thought he wasn't gonna do it. I said it.
Yeah, no, it didn't come through.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Okay, that would have been bad.
Yeah, it would. But yeah, that's your Rizu. I'm trying to fuck you up. Scoop it.
Keep it a bean and keep it how it is.
All right, so who's that with that Rizu? That's two people with that Rizu now. B-Dog, go ahead. B-Dog, go ahead and start. Oh, nope. Look at him, still in the glory. Look at him, still in the glory. He trying to get his super in the chamber, bro.
Oh, wow.
And you still got Rizzo. You good. Come on, Orion. Orion, I'm actually rooting for you. You know, all jokes aside.
Oh my God, B-Dog.
Man, red pants.
You keep saying red pants.
I'm fucking
That
stuck.
ain't
I
about
tried
that
really
life,
doing
man.
this move and it didn't
That
work.
boy ain't want to win no belt. That boy don't want to win no belt. Every match I see.
Coach him out. Coach him. What do he need to do? Just bet on it. He betting on himself right now. Look at him.
For him to win, him and B-Dog gotta be like, yo,
I said that. I have flat out said that. I have said that.
they gotta strike at the right time though.
Yeah.
B-Dog striking
Oh,
shit.
You know, boy,
Like B-Dog, like right now.
Yeah, now,
do
B-Dog.
something for somebody.
Look at him. He trying to strike. Look at him. Look at him. Oh wow, look at that Sturdio. Oh wow, look at that. Okay, let me go ahead and give the first dummy of the pay-per-view. You said that. All right, let's see if it's Rizzo. For the one, at nothing.
He said Rizzo broke, bro.
Is it? Okay. All right, so when y'all pin him, listen out for him.
B-Dog, I'm serious. We're the underdog in this match.
All right, so y'all two can still fight though. You know, don't just.
Yeah, build up on each other. Just don't hit each other with nothing. That's
Yeah,
how
we're
they do it, bro.
defensive.
So yeah, that's what you do. Fight each other, but don't hit each other with nothing. And after that, bro.
Teaching them niggas the ways, I see.
Look at him.
Yeah, alright, so you need to get our boy a super fiend, my right? You need to hit him with your fiend because it's the easiest, and let B-Dog fucking.
He still ain't qualified.
Easy for the fucking win, bro.
Yeah, it is. No, you ain't. But then when you hit the SIG, did you? Oh, you did. Oh, you. Okay. 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 Okay.
I'm trying to screw me already. What?
I ain't trying to screw you, man. You know, I still can't see everything.
You just gotta get your stick.
But 1, 2 on the show, and I'm thinking they gonna show some more tonight. Hopefully.
See how they split up now and they fight you guys. They knew what time it was. Now you got some respect.
He said no more. He said no more.
I know. Y'all split up, bro. Who ain't got reds in here right now?
It's B-Dog and Sturdio.
All right, you already know what you need to do and roll his ass up.
Probably the easiest one to beat.
Orion, you actually deserve this belt, bro.
Telling you, nigga, get away from me. Get away
The
from
good
KO,
read.
nigga. That ain't what you want, bro.
He said ain't what you want.
There you go. You better go to the niggas with the double.
He gonna go to. He went to Sturdio. He went to Sturdio.
Yeah. Remember now, DP will roll his ass up, nigga.
He said y'all better go to the man with the doubles. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay, B-Dog, listen out. B-Dog, listen out for him if you decide to pin him.
Hey, I'm not hitting with fucking things or anything.
Oh, okay.
You're so dumb.
B-Dog, what the fuck are you doing over there?
He stunned him and then he didn't hit him with nothing.
B-Dog, you're not gonna get the super anyway. What is this?
I reversed that. Don't get me.
He said he's a moron.
I reversed that. No, I reversed that. Come on now. Don't do that.
You ain't see nothing. Your stun bar going anyway. It's going anyway. Your stun bar is gone. Go. Your stun bar is gone.
That's bullshit. I was about to get hot. Like, if I would have gotten a little bit hot. Oh my god, I was about to get so hot.
Niggas gonna fuck about whatever, bro.
I'm gonna give you a hint. I'm gonna give you a big hint, y'all. That is just like Cody's crossroads. I mean that Cody cut it thing. It's along with the same thing. You gotta don't reverse the shit. That's all you don't do. Just don't reverse the bitch, and then get up. That's all you gotta do. It's stupid, bro. It's fucking stupid. Don't reverse
Y'all
it.
niggas think I'm close to any one of you niggas? Y'all niggas got that, bro. Oh shit!
Stick to the plan, fella.
Whoa, hold up, bro. He's not wrong. Bro, they got a plan, Sturdio. So what you trying to do?
Yeah, I want to know now. I want to know now. I want y'all to still fight and not just be looking at each other though. I want y'all to still be fighting.
Fight each other, nigga.
Okay, I know what my strategy is. It's just I have to wait for it to.
He trying to sit between one of you niggas.
What do you got, Stir? Oh, you just got a super. That's all you got. I've been saying. Well, hold on. Can you do the forearm from out there, going in the ring?
Yeah.
Oh, see, you can catch somebody on that shit. Oh, can you not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he can. You gotta grab the rope.
He has to grab onto the ropes. Though.
Yeah.
I mean,
In the crowd, they'll probably pop some damn body.
what the fuck?
This thing just glitched. Hopefully you're not in there. Get him. Go get him. Here, there you go. There you go. Thank God. Thank you. He out. What the fuck? I'm clipping that. What the fuck? Can you grab it?
It's on my TikTok. It's on my TikTok.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, go check my TikTok. Me, Quad, Jake, Weezy, I'm on nothing right now, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Bro.
No, I don't know about that one.
So send me an invite, bro.
Right,
How the fuck?
No, you need
Nah, B-Dog the one that got knocked the fuck out. He the one that got knocked out.
You was talking to me, Dad.
Is that a submission you doing? Yeah, it is.
Good job, buddy. Good fucking job.
Go ahead in there, Sturdio. Let's get this match over with. It's drawn down to the end.
You gotta match him. You gotta match him anyway.
Who's Sturdio?
Oh shit! He won it all. Look like.
Yeah, he do. He do.
I ain't gonna lie, you cooked, bro. Oh my goodness. You're right. Look at starting the game.
Oh, you reverse that shit. And then look at B-Dog. He got the bitch too. He got the bitch. He don't care. He's in it for himself at this point. That's the reason. He's in it for himself now. He's in it for himself. B-Dog. That's why you will forever have fans, bro. B-Dog, that's why you will forever have fans here at UWA, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Go out there and fight for yourself. Oh! Is he going for it? Oh, he's going up. Oh, look at this. Look how he set that shit up.
Oh my god.
What the fuck? For the one. Oh shit, he ain't selling it. Y'all better, hey, y'all, yeah, B-Dog. I can't coach, but damn. I can't coach, but damn.
Get Kevin.
Oh my god.
Oh, he just got reversed. He got reversed.
Yeah, chin up combo.
Damn. That would have been. Only thing you had to do, B-Dog, Scooper. Only thing you had to do is just hit him with a couple a key lock combo, whatever that shit Punk got, and that's it. That's all you had to do. He would have been stunned. That's literally all you had to do. And then he still didn't have reason when you was doing it, bro. You just had one combo. He would have been stunned. That's a skill gap right there. Bam! Oh shit. No, he ain't got Rezel either. No, he don't got nothing in general though. He ain't got nothing. No, he ain't hit it yet. For the one, still in there. Sturdio's still in there. What's good, bro? What's good, Trav?
This nigga,
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll.
Hey, Don, do you think you can get me a match in?
I can get you in that match with then I can get you the match with that what's that match with ACG? I can get you in there with him. Yeah, I can get you in there with that.
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
It just no, Dez got it. Just him. He the only one. But make sure y'all listen out for him too, though. Whatever y'all decide to do. Rezil. Oh, here, this might be it. Is somebody gonna get in there and get their shit off? Oh, he said he going for the whole steal. Nope, he said fuck it. For the one. Listen, and he still kicked out. Still kicked out.
Niggas don't want to win, bro.
Go ahead in there, Sturdio. Finish him off. Go ahead. Show him how to finish it off, Sturdio. I'm gonna believe in you, Sturdio. Go ahead and tell him how to finish it off, bro.
I'm over this shit.
Go ahead, Sturdio.
Let me get in the match after this.
You said it's this script. I swear it's not. You would think so, though, right?
No, because you're the next one at the unit.
He said, is it scripted?
Is this
You would think so. Yeah, you would really think so. You would really think so.
I was gonna say
Cause I want to know why I didn't see a combo when he had that big ass debuff. I want to know why I didn't see no damn combo. And then, yeah,
selling this match because there's no way he's doing this shit on his own.
off a debuff is at that debuff, fresh as debuff, high as debuff with the Rezil debuff as well. But you know,
crazy game, bro.
yo.
Hey, B-Dog, come here. B-Dog, come here.
He said B-Dog coming there. Look, you know, B-Dog in it for himself. Look, B-Dog for himself. Look, B-Dog in it for himself, throwing doubles out there, bro. He's in it for himself, bro. Bam. Is he DPing? He is DPing. He DPing. For the 1, 2, and Sturdio's up out of there. Damn. You said B-Dog don't. Good man, Sturdio. The good news about you, Sturdio, is not over for you because you still got your moment, so you good to go.
That might have been my last chance to make Mania.
That is your last chance.
I forgot Brady got out. Brady, were you the first one
niggas
out?
don't have
Yeah.
no brains, bro.
Every
Every
was in there. What the hell?
You know why I think I lose on my motor?
All right, y'all playing musical chairs. Y'all go ahead and all meet in the ring. Meet in the ring. We gotta come up here ready. We gotta come up here ready to fight. Let's go. Y'all two fight. Y'all two fight. Everybody fight. Yeah. You said they just want to do that, and that's it.
Y'all can't team up now.
Yeah.
Y'all can't team up now. Y'all had all getting team up. You just did now.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out why didn't he get jumped when he had that debuff. That's what I'm trying to figure out on that debuff. On that damn debuff.
He kept this quiet, bro. He wasn't. He was letting y'all.
Yo, that is fire. I'm gonna be abusing that.
Do it one more time and then make sure
He ain't saying nothing, so niggas didn't feel like they had to.
If that's safe.
Bro, but off the debuff though,
Yeah, but he was quiet. You seen how y'all were trying to get him to jump the whole time. He didn't say nothing.
I'm trying to parlay.
I guess he gonna do what he want to do because he got the Rezil off of Ryan doing what he wanted to do. So hey, he can do what he want to do.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Bam and a bam. Orion, if that's out of here, you gotta. It's up to you. And he's still into the fight. He's still in there. Yeah, what's up? Check DMs. Okay. Gotcha.
I did the
You
wrong one.
just.
Oh wow.
Oh no, you still will. It just title. That's it.
Oh
yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah. You just the only thing I'm saying is you know where you stand going into next season draft. That's it. Like from here.
Just to block people from getting a higher pick.
But yeah, that's all this was. You're supposed to be blocking name motion.
I got my pick.
Yeah. So you know exactly where you at going into the. You know where you at.
What's your pick?
Oh, he BB. You got something in the corner. Oh, you ain't got nothing. If you did.
Like I wanted to go no show match. Like I'm not gonna go cry about it because I lost.
You got a good pick though. You got higher than me, so you got a good pick, man. Scoop it. Not last year. Yeah. Okay. Again, he got there go. He got a stun bar.
Come on, B-Dog. This is your stun bar.
And he gonna go for you. Just take it. You just take charge, Orion. You take charge, Orion. You take charge. You take charge. You go.
That move was safe in all regards.
Yo,
It's gotta be the
No
This nigga
place
is
is safe
40.
in the elimination chamber, but the outside is a
Believe this guy,
At
bro.
this point, no, ain't no.
Just go and get B-Dog out there. Just go and get B-Dog out there, shit. Cause
That's crazy.
Yo,
Dude.
Yo, man, don't
bro,
fall
B-Dog's
for
like
it.
that, bro.
Let's
Stop hating on him,
go.
bro.
B-Dog.
That's insane.
Let's go.
Hating on him, bro.
Gets countered
You
there.
don't know what's crazy? Niggas team to beat dog too. That's
Slips out of the
crazy. I
way.
mean, that's
yeah, but I'm gonna just say this at the end of it because I don't want to say this at the end. Y'all know Dezo still got Rezil, right?
I know, that's what I'm trying to tell him, nigga.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just because I don't want them to, say. I don't know. Like I'm trying to figure out what are they like thinking right now. Y'all know he got Rezil. I ain't saying jump the man, but y'all know he got Rezil. Y'all fighting each other.
Nah, they had a whole game. They had a whole game to jump and B-Dog kept telling that nigga, bro.
Yeah, I know. He hit him with the damn fin.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see no jumping from here on out, bro. We just had a whole game to jump this nigga.
And the damn stunner.
There we go. That's what you get.
He said that what you got.
B-Dog, you realize you're losing this, right?
And the damn power bomb. Don't break that shit. Yeah, don't break nothing.
Oh shit, he kicked out. Oh.
No way.
He still got one of them bitches in the chamber though. You might come up. You might come up and catch one. You might come up and catch a bitch.
Of course I kicked out.
No, I ain't hating on him. I ain't hating on him. I just want him to get his shit together. That's all.
I'm disappointed.
Yo, hello? You got, come on, bro.
Y'all expected him to do any better, bro? Come on, man.
For no reason.
Yeah. And another damn stunner. B-Dog, hit. There you go, okay.
Nigga, why?
Hit it. For the one.
Yo, but don't even give me a strong board.
So you're fucked.
Yes, this is the best move of the game.
Maybe next time. That's a beat on beat Dez.
Imagine though, imagine.
Well, I say he's still got Reese, though.
Yeah, he do got reason.
I get that you're special at Ryan, but come on, bro.
B-Dog, you got to fight. B-Dog, you throwing it out there. You should just waited for a super. You should just waited for a super. Man. Oh, you just threw both of them. Okay, Dez, good fight, man. Yeah, now. No, I swear it's not. I swear it's not. I swear it's not. I swear it's not, bro. Damn. For the 1, 2, and the new global champion, Kevin Owens. Good shit, man. From having no belt, from having no singles belt all year to capturing that. Yes. Good shit. Good shit.
I mean, it is what it is. This maybe it's what I'm saying, Rizzo, he's still got Rizzo. I see my eyes. Like, he's still got Rizzo.
You could have fucking super finned him.
I haven't had a super fin the whole match.
You had a 6. You had a 6. You had a 6. You could have popped that. You got a fin on it.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
You should have let him qualify you, alright? You fucking.
He did qualify. He already qualified.
Yeah, he already qualified.
No. I'm gonna tell y'all where B-Dog fucked up at. B-Dog fucked up when Weezy told them two niggas to get in the ring and fight. Me and Sturdio, that's what the fuck they should have did. They shouldn't have let me. They thought Sturdio. They thought Sturdio got me out off that super fin.
Ain't that
Yeah,
some
no, they
shit?
needed to keep him in there longer, bro.
That's all I need to know.
Ain't
How
that
much did
something?
you pay B-Dog for this match? I
Like,
need to know.
Sturdio was the one.
B-Dog.
I ain't gonna lie.
B-Dog.
I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
the only way.
I ain't gonna lie. 'Cause look,
B-Dog, you better have
I
your own
was-
segment.
Don, hey,
Yep.
Don, look. I ain't gonna lie. I was gonna let B-Dog beat me.
How did my ball get bigger?
I was gonna let him hit me with a fin. I wasn't gonna
Bro, I got
Henny,
the medium bar
Henny
twice in a
said-
row, bro. There's no way.
But look, hey Henny, it's your fault. Cause when you said, imagine if he beat this, nah, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah, he said, imagine
Like
B-Dog
y'all
beat
ain't
the. He
jump
did
this
say it.
Man,
Bro,
the shit he was
bro,
doing,
that
that nigga
nigga.
wasn't gonna win. Hey man,
no
I ain't
way.
gonna lie to you.
That
I ain't gonna
nigga
lie to
wasn't
you.
gonna win, no way.
Jumping
Fuck
that
out of
nigga.
here.
I would have
Bro,
jumped
Weez
this
get, bro, Weez
nigga.
gave y'all a
Fuck outta
formula,
here.
bro. Weez, Weez gave y'all a
Yeah.
formula, bro.
Damn, bro.
Weez said just build up each other,
Okay.
don't hit chilling each
Okay.
other.
So Henny need one more match. Henny need one more match.
No.
Do y'all want?
I can lead this rivals game. I don't give a fuck.
Are you?
Yeah, there you
We
go.
can-
Come on,
bro,
Henry.
I
Let's
got
get it.
After that ACG, after this one, ACG is your match with them guys right there. You can
So
fight
you
right
running
after this
the
one.
universal one, or are you running?
The universal. This is universal.
Oh,
Let's
all
go.
right.
Is hold on. Hold on.
don't
Let
do
me
that
make
shit.
sure everybody here.
I'm a OG, nigga.
Let me make sure
Nah,
everybody here.
bro. I'm
Yeah,
gonna hit
that's what it
somebody
is.
else.
My B-Dog's brain lacks critical
You heard me,
thinking
John?
skills,
You-
but
you
it's
said what, bro?
study.
Bro.
It's
When the
3 of
triple
y'all.
That shit goes
It's
to be
I know Leon another one, and Wood is in here too. Okay, that's everybody.
Oh my god, I was trying to catch fucking
Bro,
Dez.
please put B-Dog in a lumberjack
So
match.
B-Dog
I think that's everybody in it.
super off.
Man,
Put B-Dog in a
All I
lumberjack
gotta
match.
say is y'all niggas are stupid because he
I
literally
wanna
Let
gave
me
point
see
y'all the
out-
something.
formula. He
Give me one
said
second. I'm finna
y'all
set it
can
up. Bro.
fight and build up
Portion
against each other,
everything. Just kept
and
giving
y'all
Dez
go against them.
anything.
All y'all had to do was
That's,
let
bro,
Dez
Orion
and
was
Stereo
doing it,
fight
bro,
together.
you know
I
what
was
happened, bro?
doing that.
Soon
I
as he
was
said
doing
Stereo
that,
that.
got eliminated.
You
As soon as
keep
Stereo got
saying y'all
eliminated,
like y'all is the
bro,
issue.
he soon as he did that, B-Dog on force the GTX on
Yeah, on Orion. It popped his
But
reason.
man,
oh,
yeah,
that's what happened.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Because I got,
so
I got
B-Dog,
the
bro,
you
we
medium
said
bar.
we
I got
said
the
build
skinny
up.
medium bar.
We said build up and don't hit each other with nothing. As soon as he said that, you know,
right.
force the GTS on Orion. I'm like, what the? You dumb?
All right.
Yeah, and I got
Like
that skinny medium bar.
it's just stupid because now y'all both suck.
Yeah, all you had to do was let Orion hit him with the wizard.
Yeah,
B-Dog
and then
took
you
his
had
ass.
the
better
Let me
match.
make sure. Let me make sure Wood
Yeah.
here. Let me make sure Wood here first
Yeah,
before I
Wood
do
is
this.
here.
Easy, bro.
He is here.
Hey, good shit,
Okay.
Replace
Dez.
that nigga.
All right. I just had to make sure.
They
Dez
took
didn't
advantage of
even
their
do
dumbasses.
anything. B-Dog was just a paid actor.
Finally finished the fucking job, nigga. Fuck.
Like I said, if I
Finally
wasn't
finished the
playing, it would
story.
be Dez at that point. Because there was
Yeah, he finally
God
did it.
fucking, I was gonna let B-Dog win the damn thing.
Keep that belt
bro,
tight,
that nigga
nigga.
wanted to lose that shit himself. He wasn't gonna win that shit no way.
No, God, right?
This ain't about winning it, just even the odds out. I ain't say jump him the whole match, but at least get that Rezil off that nigga.
At least because the nigga Rizzo didn't even come up.
Yeah.
What I was gonna do right before I got hit with that last stunner, I was gonna try to force a fucking finisher and everything because I had two.
Hey,
of them.
if Trav calling you
I had
slow,
two,
bro,
so I
I ain't
could have
gonna lie
forced
to
one.
you. I'll be
I could
sick.
have reversed the
Who's
first one. I
making
would have
the
gone for
match?
the second one more than likely.
Yeah,
I'm
Super
contacting him now.
Super
Give me a
Let me
second.
know when to join
Trav
your
ain't
match.
calling you slow.
Bro,
Bro, John Cena. No, I watched that match.
Henny.
B-Dog gets slow. I'm sorry.
You ready to
never
burn the
be
house
champion.
down, Henny? Combo, you ready?
This one gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
Combo? Was it the fuck? Whoa.
No, it's gonna be a good one, bro.
I was getting to you. You ready?
Yeah,
though?
Why we got
good.
one fall by the other one? A-Win.
Wait, y'all's was one fall? Oh shit.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Oh, where's
That's one
BS?
fall.
The IC is the IC one is.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love
That nigga mad. That nigga mad because we did what we did. Hell, Woody should be in the match either.
Are we doing the IC right now or what?
No, it's not right now. It's the chamber.
The U.S. title one is eliminated because Don added
Alright,
just
bro.
add to a dish show to it.
I hope I'm
What match do I
Yeah,
have?
that's what it
Or
was.
is it just you and me?
I hope I come out last.
Shit, you could be in the other one. I got you booked in too.
Come on, let's
But yeah, I wanted to fight you too.
Second to last.
Yeah,
It's after this one though, Sinbad. It's after this one though, Sinbad. But Sinbad, I'm gonna let you know now. Don't be doing nothing crazy in the match, man.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
won't.
get
Throw me in
disqualified.
that bitch.
Let me out there, hey Don, let me out there.
No, it's not the singles match. It's that one for ACG. The one I got Sinbad originally for you.
The ACG one. Okay.
You know, I like
Throw me in
Studio's
that bitch.
idea of the lumberjack.
Did would it respond to me?
Stays here,
Yeah.
You give him a shout out by the way.
He texted me that I need for him to. Oh, I didn't. Oh.
You go read Sinbad.
I do it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What does Sinbad
Bro,
match?
he's here, bro. No.
Yeah. I know.
He's here.
I know he's texting me right now.
I'm so thirsty to run that
all
shit.
in that shit with us. Where Leon go? Leon here, bro?
I'm here, yeah.
Leon, I want you to clip your shit, nigga. Clip your
Don't
shit.
listen to him, Leon. Leon, you don't gotta clip shit, nigga. Fuck what they talking about.
He trying to do the
Don't
mind
clip
game.
Right now, Leon.
It's some mind games, bro.
Nigga, this is the last chance we got, nigga. Kick out glitch all day, nigga. Just kick out glitch as much as you can, bro. Please, Leon. This is the last chance we got, nigga.
This guy.
Kick out glitch. Yeah, you ain't clipping shit, Leon. They don't do clips in Poland, nigga. These niggas don't
Get your ice
know.
cream.
They don't make
Get your
that
ice
clip
cream.
button in Poland, bro. You ain't telling me they don't make that clip button, Leon?
Come on.
Maybe I forgot to mention this, bro.
Yeah, make mine out join back together out this motherfucker.
Usually, if you give me wrong,
Oh
I'm gonna
my
win, bro.
goodness, it's
You
always
ain't-
something.
you ain't-
I need for one of y'all in that match to stream it on Discord for me.
Oh, I know, bro.
Bro, that nigga.
Well, why don't combo? Let combo.
I'm on my PC.
Yeah. All right.
I see him on Twitch all the time.
You can't stream the
About to get some words. One more time. Run it back in.
I see AT,
Bro,
I see,
that
I
nigga
see
sold,
Weezy
bro.
streaming all the
Oh my
time.
god, he's
No, combo if you stream from the
Stream,
capture
play
card,
Marvel.
just put it
Yeah.
on the camera.
You ain't see it, man.
No, I'm saying I can't
Nah,
shoot
Weezy
with this
can
one. I'm
stream
saying.
it.
Oh, my bad.
I can stream if you want.
You gonna do it, TB?
Safety bubbles. Hey, right? Safety bubbles.
TV, I forgot about TV even. in the
TB?
fucking-
Okay. But somebody got to set it up still though. Six the chamber 30-second interval and that's it. And turn the victory and blood off. And turn TB say he gonna do it. TB say he'll do it. But I just need somebody to set up and turn victory and blood off. That broke it the last time I did it, and it worked the last time. Yeah,
Oh, turn it off.
yeah, turn that off.
I got you.
Hey, Dawn.
Yep.
I'll tell you later. I'll message you.
No, you don't get a second chance, buddy. You lost.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not that.
If you in the match, join me, bro.
Stop.
And
But he
I
wants
just,
to get
and
changed.
TB, you
I'm
could do
sorry,
it through
unfortunately.
Twitch or you could do it through Discord. It's up to you.
Hold on, don't join that. This shit
Which
fucking-
one would you rather do it? Which one would you rather do it through?
Henny just invited me to something though. Is that not the?
That's probably the match.
Join that. You going
Hold
to
on,
stream.
don't join it. Don't join it.
Oh.
Okay, you said my game.
I already joined.
Oh, okay. So TB, which one you gonna choose? Twitch or Discord?
I've never done Discord. Did you just press the stream button right there?
I think I don't know. I don't have mine connected like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You hit stream to this for
And then pull it, yo.
I ain't gonna lie, TB. If you win this shit, my nigga, you doing some gold shit, man.
I'm finna go ahead and pull a curveball because he's the only champion in these chambers. If he's starting off, put him last. You last. And it's not on no team shit because I'm not on teams. Oh, TB, I don't know if you know, but it's no more teams until the next season. But
What if
that's
you
why I say it's
coming
not
in
on no
third,
team
though?
shit. Yeah, if you come in third, just sit in a corner somewhere. Just wait until the end, and then there you go. Yeah, just sit there. Yeah, just last.
Hey, Dion.
That's crazy.
He's the only champion in these chambers. He's the only champion in these chambers.
Wait, what match is this?
This the universal.
How about we all agree, though, fellas? Not fight
Leon.
and then
What's
wait.
up, Quad?
God, we all just go.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
Yeah. Hey, I'm down with that.
Jesus Christ.
I'm down with that.
Take me
And look at him.
Don't pin nobody.
Yeah, don't do
I
that.
ain't hit nobody. I'm
Christ.
gonna sit
Yeah, I
there.
ain't hitting nobody. I'm gonna stand there. Yeah.
Why y'all gonna do this to me now? Fight the match.
Because you said that, BS.
Bruh, if it was, listen, if it was any of y'all, hey, I think I deserve to be last. I would have heard it from any one of y'all. So don't even call the kettle. This is the pot calling the kettle black. I would have most definitely heard it from every single person in that match right there. I deserve to be last. I know I deserve to be last. I would have heard it from every single person in this match right here. I need to be last.
Let me know
What
what
about
to
me?
join.
I deserve to be last. Let me be last, man. I deserve to be last.
Jesus
ATG in
Christ.
our match too?
No, he's not in the match.
I ain't in, y'all.
If he was, he should have replaced Wood'a.
I was like, damn.
But I think
Thank you, TB.
I think he put all four of us in it because we quote unquote pulled it Wood'a.
Streaming right
Oh,
now.
this guy.
Yeah, it's streaming. I see it.
Damn,
Appreciate it.
y'all really hate B Dog. Damn.
See, you're a dumbass.
Yeah, man.
Hey, look.
That nigga dumb as hell.
Hey, Don.
Here we go.
What's up, bro?
For the union,
Your match is next,
right?
Trev. Your match next, Trev.
I know,
Let's have a
Jerry
good
the
one,
King
bro.
is
Hey,
crazy.
hey, you know it's crazy.
And this one
That
is for
last
the
part of my
universal.
promo, when I say I will work my magic and get the win by any means necessary.
Hey,
They'll say he lived
Don.
up
Look
to his
at
word.
right quick. Yeah, do me a huge solid. Let
What
me
is
go
it?
ahead and use my new round.
Hey, Dad. What's
He
good?
could have put us in the heavyweight,
I just
bro.
got one question, bro. How much?
How much was
How much? How much you
How much
paid that
you
nigga
want?
off, bro?
Oh hell
How
no.
about you pay that nigga off?
Y'all crazy. Y'all
Hey, y'all
pissed.
know what's
That's
crazy
a
though?
luck
That was
So
that
so
was
we
Go ahead and
waiting
crazy.
for
fight.
TB.
No, go ahead and fight. No,
Don.
go ahead and fight, or I
Don.
call this whole damn match off. I'm being dead
Hey
ass.
Don.
I will call the match
All
off
right,
and give it
man.
to
Come on,
TB.
then.
Fight the match.
Now this nigga mad.
Fight the
No,
match.
no,
Y'all,
no,
listen,
no,
it's
no, no.
already 4 people in the match that pulled a wooded on me. And y'all think y'all getting
No,
away? No, it don't work like that. No, fight the match.
don't hold it off. We
Sit
balling.
over there.
No,
And
no,
TB,
don't
you
fight.
sit in your corner
Don't hold it off.
until Muhammad Ali come out. You sit. That's water. Until Muhammad Ali, that's when you start fighting. Yo, what's up?
Hey Don, if greatness don't show up, let me be in that match.
I can't
Title
do
up.
that. I can't do that.
Yeah, he can. He'll put both the title up. He
Easy.
can definitely do that.
Oh, now that's
Man,
different.
we
That
cool
now
with
that's
that.
now
We
that's
cool with that.
different.
jump
Now
on the
that's
train.
different. Now that's different.
That's
Cool
what I
with that.
said.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'll
what you
put my
said. Oh,
title.
I
That's
thought
what he
you. Oh, I
said.
didn't hear
That's
that
what he
part. I
said.
didn't hear
No,
that
we
part.
cool with that. Yeah, we cool with that. We all with that.
Yeah, I'll put my title up. Fuck it.
You can put me in there so
I'm
I
gonna
can
reach
have
out
the
to greatness though.
opportunity to get
I'm gonna
the
reach out to
undisputed
greatness
at
though.
WrestleMania.
Sturdy, your time is up. You when are you gonna start picking? It's time to go ahead and start picking now.
I'm gonna pick
Well, you're gonna pick
after
after the
greatness'
heavyweight.
match.
Champions, nigga. You know why?
Fuck, bro.
Look, okay, why don't I tell y'all this?
Oh,
Who's
Picture
in the
wow.
perfect.
goddamn heavyweight? I don't really want to fight nobody in the heavyweight except for like one person.
Picture perfect,
So,
nigga.
so if that
Oh,
person,
that
if
shit
that
trash.
person
Right.
win, no, there's
Who's
two,
the person?
there's
Y'all
two people in
straight
there.
up
There's two
ass.
people in there. I wanna fight. So if one of them win, okay.
Who
But
are
the
the two
universe, on the
people?
other
Don't
hand,
be
it's just a
fucking
whole bunch of
making
Hey,
people I want to
Lonzo
Lonzo
fight.
and greatness.
Did you just put
Lonzo
It's
and
a
verse
whole
greatness
there?
bunch
now.
of people I
Yeah,
want
I
to
think
fight
he
in the
did.
goddamn
Yo,
You wanna know what's
the
crazy?
universal.
eat it.
You wanna know what's crazy though, Sturdio? I feel like
Uh,
I know one of the people that's in this match that's going on that you want to fight.
wait, what match is going on now?
this the universal.
The
Universal.
universal. Oh yeah, it's a whole
Silly
bunch of
shit.
people I want to fight in
The
there.
fuck are y'all doing to me?
It's Henny.
Get the fuck
I
out of
need
Okay,
here.
you.
I
I need
know
you
one
to
is
include
Henny.
They reckoning?
Henny,
Henny definitely one of them.
Come on, Leon.
Henny,
You
it's
gotta.
Henny.
TB.
Who else?
I think TB's one.
You gotta get rid of the threat. Get rid of the threat, Leon.
Seth.
Get rid of the threat, Leon. There you go.
That's the threat right there.
It's gonna be
Hey,
me, TB,
Henny,
or
Right.
me, TB,
Henny.
or what's the name?
All jokes aside, I'm actually surprised about you. You actually pulled
Actually,
the trigger on the
I've
John
never
Cena
beaten
shit,
Woulda.
and I did not believe you.
I don't know why
I
you
really
don't
didn't.
believe
I
me.
really didn't. Cause you've been
I'll
putt
let you
faking the
fight
John
me.
Cena run for the
I told
longest.
I
Who be
told you, I
bullshitting,
saw,
bro?
bro,
Because
I,
you don't be saying no
tired.
business, bro. Because you be like, oh, I'm gonna be you, and you don't be
Hey,
saying no business,
Leon.
bro.
Leon.
'Cause you don't be about that life,
Oh,
bro.
wait, never mind. TB's there. With
Nah,
TB,
don't
you're
fight,
really
nigga.
not gonna
Nah,
fight
don't fight,
TB?
nigga.
Leave TB
Don't fight,
alone
nigga.
until
Hey,
Muhammad Ali come
you're
out.
really not gonna fight?
Leave him alone.
Nah,
Leave him alone.
if you don't, TB, if you don't fight, nigga, I'm gonna
Wait,
take
hold
care of
on.
Coming in
myself.
As
last.
soon as y'all see Muhammad Ali
You
pop
made me
out, he could
proud,
go ahead and
nigga.
start
When
fighting.
you
Just
took
leave him
Adam
alone.
Cole out, you made me proud, nigga. Now
Go
you
on in
coming
there.
in like a
Leave
chump.
leave him alone. Go on in there.
Hey, Don, you don't stand on.
Get
Hey,
your
Don,
ass,
you don't stand
nigga.
on business. You don't stand on business. Call the match off. No balls, nigga. You ain't about
And
it.
he won't.
Nah,
Definitely
they
he won't
fighting.
call them
They
off.
fighting. They already fighting.
Definitely won't.
Oh,
Hey, don't worry about what Eric Bischoff might do some crazy shit.
Don,
Yeah, what's up, bro?
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You
I
should
did
have
not
seen
think
that
I was
Ali
gonna
come
win
out.
that.
Go ahead, go beat his ass. Hey, everybody go jump TB
I
just
was
for being a
done.
yes man. Go over there
Yeah.
being a yes man and
He
listening
ain't
to
been no
Leon.
yes man. He just enjoying the fruits
You heard
of
me,
his labor.
Sturdio?
That's it.
He's a yes man.
He fought very
I
hard.
said,
This
I
man
said,
this
I'm
man
not gonna
fought
lie,
very
bro.
hard.
There's
I
no
said, I
more
ain't gonna lie,
teams,
bro.
man.
I thought when you hit me with that super fin, it was done for.
Leon,
I
don't do
wish
nothing
it
Hell no,
stupid.
was.
Dad.
Shit, I was
Nah,
ready
As
to
soon
get
as
on
y'all
his
see
ass.
Muhammad
I
Ali
was ready
pop out, y'all
to.
can attack TB. It's fine from there.
Hey, Dez.
Oh wow.
I had a plan for that. You get out in the super fin. I was gonna hit.
Too sweet,
Don't
brother.
even have Rezo. I
man,
was gonna hit him with the
shit
Shining
hit. I don't
Wizard
give
and
a
roll
fuck
his
nobody
ass
said.
up.
Yeah, that's what I
Roll his
said.
ass up
From my
afterwards.
shit.
That's
too.
what I
was
was
like,
gonna do.
what the
Dez.
I'm not gonna hold you.
You
Orion,
went out.
originally, I was gonna do what I did to Dez to you, but
I
then you
figured.
popped Rezil, so I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
know.
okay, yeah,
Right. Yeah.
but
I ain't gonna lie, TB
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie, we jumping you
yeah,
too
100%.
much.
I was planning on
Oh
doing that
God,
shit to you.
I'm
That's
So
why I
we
was
jumping
waiting. That's
you.
why I was waiting for you
it's
to get a
over with.
fin, because I reversed your
Like,
fin, and then I was like,
like,
damn, I
All
gotta
right,
leave him
TB.
alone.
After that time
Oh,
go
well,
off,
well,
you
well,
eligible,
well,
bro.
I'm on his
Like,
ass.
honestly,
Back in the
Stardio.
ring, nigga.
Stardio,
Can't
my
see
plan
your boy.
was
I
if
ain't
Oh,
doing
Look.
that.
yeah.
Get your ass in the ring.
you got
Come
super
on.
fin
Go get
off
TB. Go
on
get TB.
on
It's
Dez,
been real,
he got
TB.
out.
It's been
I was
real,
gonna hit
bro.
you with the Shining Wizard, roll your
I'll come get you. What you mean?
Oh, he said I come get you.
Man, shut your
Yeah.
bald-headed ass up.
Me? Yeah.
Hey, Don.
Yeah, what's up,
What's
bro?
up,
Your match
Mike?
next, remember, Trev. Your match is
Oh,
next,
shit,
bro.
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do all that.
Hold on,
Yeah, I
but
got
look at switches.
I
Can
got
I
one
use
word
my
for the
new
champion,
wrestler?
whoever win this match.
What new
Come
wrestler?
on,
I thought
Henny.
you were
Come
Drew
on, Henny. Put some
McIntyre, right?
respect on the belt, Henny. This the big one, man.
That's somebody
I
new.
couldn't
Look
even
at
fucking
switches.
move.
Come on.
Hold on, say it again, Trev.
I said, look at switches.
Okay, let me look
Hey,
on my phone.
Trav.
What up?
Hey, bro, you talking all that shit about me not
Oh
winning the belt.
shit! I can't do it inside because all these people in the targeting suck.
What do you want, John Cena?
The Undertaker? Oh, you want the Undertaker?
Yes, sir.
That
You
nigga
haven't
did
you
that.
haven't fought today, you right? You or Delta haven't fought. Y'all both in the next
I ain't,
match.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
I wouldn't give a damn. The
Damn, bro, they literally just
Jerry the
swapped
I
King
like
places.
this.
Lawler.
They all
Hey,
fighting.
did you see that
That's how it's
bullshit
supposed to
done?
be.
No, I was
about to
reading
tell
the
you about
switches.
that.
I was
about to
reading the
tell you
switches.
about
My
that.
bad. Yeah.
You know, me and Sturdio, I feel
I was
like
about to tell
Jerry
Sturdio
the
you about
King
how
Lawler
you
got some
mentioned
cheese
that
in it
Jerry
too.
the
He
King
got
Lawler.
super fans and shit. I know it.
But you
He
think you know
got.
how to use it though?
I don't
the
know.
April
He,
Power Driver.
Hey,
yeah.
John,
Got
this
the April
super
Power
fan goes
Yeah.
to
Driver.
the outside, though. It goes
Yeah.
to the outside. April
Yeah.
Power Driver.
Look at
Easy as fuck.
TB, bro.
False count anywhere match, isn't it?
Yeah. This is
So
yeah.
if he
Let's
don't,
go, man.
Oh,
This
I
one
thought
is
they
yeah.
doing my
You're
fault,
just
TV.
kidding though.
Yeah.
I
It's
get a
all of them
TV.
are.
what happened?
Oh yeah.
Billy Graham.
U.S. is already set in stone. Vortex. You had your fun.
Muhammad Ali dies.
We
The
fucking
next
had
match
your
I added
Hey,
only thing ACG I added in Trav in your match.
Yo,
Just so you know. I added in
you
Trav.
good,
And I
combo?
appreciate
What the
that.
fuck? That's an
Don,
A?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Don,
A, bro.
I don't think
Hey,
you
hey,
didn't
I'm
know
dead
that
I
was
ass.
clicked
he had
it.
his fun today.
I clicked it. What the
I don't
fuck?
think he fulfilled his fun.
You heard me, Don?
Said what, bro?
What the
I'm dead
fuck?
ass.
Hey, appreciate the raid of fucking
Oh,
13.
wow.
W fucking raid, bro. Type shit.
Yeah, W
Nah,
Ray.
W fucking
W,
Ray
bro.
Brown.
Ray.
W, bro.
Yeah,
We in the
W Ray,
fucking
man.
championship
Whoever that
match
man
too.
is,
You done dropped in at a good fucking moment, bro.
you got something good
W
coming to you
shit.
tonight, buddy.
Holy.
Hey, Don.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just let me know, bro. If you want to add me, I have my belt. I ain't tripping.
Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, man. Just hosting this little pay
Nigga
per
keep
view shit.
ignoring
What'd
me.
you say?
I'm
What'd you
tired
say?
of you.
What'd you say, bro?
I'm tired of getting ignored, bro.
Hey,
What
nah,
did you
Don,
say,
low
though?
key, Don, you need to add him to that match, Don.
I said add me to the match. I'll put my title up. I ain't tripping.
I'm
I
gonna
got it.
reach
Yeah,
out to
me a
great. I'm
match,
gonna reach
but
out
I
to
don't match
greatness
yet.
like 2 times before the match start. If he
Damn
don't,
right, bet.
Look,
I will strongly consider.
Hey,
I would
and
strongly
the change
hey,
consider.
of
look.
events does if you win that shit, it might be
I
some
know.
back-to-back Roman versus Cody
Roman,
shit at
yeah,
I
WrestleMania.
know.
again,
I know it's
again.
up.
Hold on now.
I know it's up.
Hold on.
hey,
I
Don,
know it's up.
Yo,
Hey,
what's up, bro?
that's
Yeah,
not a bad
I'm
idea.
going to
check
WrestleMania
again.
as Roman.
Check out.
Damn.
You wanna know why
You
I'm
said
doing
what,
that
bro?
shit though, Sturdio?
Said
Because I feel like me and you, we didn't have our WrestleMania moment last year. Well,
I wanna,
I
I
had
wanna
Appreciate the
mine.
fuck
follow.
that up.
Let me see.
I wanna
You
fuck
didn't
that up.
have yours.
That boy John Cena doing a dash on their
JBL
Hey,
one.
it sound like it,
He
bro.
coming
It
for
sound like
me.
it.
Like,
That's pretty
look
much
at
like how
him.
this is. It's just
Yeah.
we
Man,
just
go
use the regular
somewhere.
wrestlers, but it's all real
I
people
mean,
though,
I
and
mean,
we're in title matches and all this shit like that. Rivalries and
Y'all
shit.
worry
We're just ready
y'all
for the
about
next year though. We run into
the
that.
champion.
dang.
The champion got full health.
Yo, Don, for
Now champion right
2025,
now
I
is
have an
Batista.
idea. I have an idea for the Money in the
Nigga
Bank
scared
in
of Henny. Fuck you
2025.
scared of me
What's
A,
your
for?
idea,
little, a
buddy?
little
Yeah,
rework to the Money in the Bank. Yeah, we should talk about that, man.
good
My
reverse.
my
I'm always listening.
The Money in the Bank could be way better.
You're on my way.
Stop that shit. What the fuck?
Appreciate the follow.
Good.
Hey, you always know I'm
Hey,
down for I like
Leon, you
creativity,
looking
so
good right now, bro.
Hey Don,
Oh
you wanna know
shit,
what's
my
crazy?
fault.
Hey,
what's
Leon,
up?
take care of
My
Weezy,
fault.
Leon. You gotta
You
get
know
rid of
last
Weezy right
year
now,
for
bro.
the Money in the Bank, I could have been the Money in the Bank winner 2 years
Yeah, I
in a
remember
row.
you let Mac win.
But I let Mac win for him
Yeah.
to fucking did he win?
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, he did. He cashed in and was successful.
So
Yeah,
I
he
don't know
won.
why
Yeah,
you
he
thought
won.
that shit
And
was
who did he
about to
cash
work.
in on? Are
I
you
don't
He
sure?
know.
cashed in on Quaz.
He beat Quas. He beat
Easy.
Quas and got his ass.
But you
beat
know
by
how
that
like
nigga.
you know how like this
He's
year,
run away.
you know like
He's
this
like,
year the cash in I didn't give him a
Cut his
rematch
ass,
or nothing.
Leon.
Last year I gave it the rematch because I was just
Finesse,
freshly
come
in.
on, you got this shit, Leon. You know
Nah,
who you gotta
nah,
stay
I
away
Yeah.
from
think
for now.
nah, you know what you did that you didn't
Was
let
it?
me do? You
Was
let
it?
Mac
Oh
start
my
off with a
God, Hanny, get the fuck off him.
Did I? I think. Oh yeah, I did. I did. I did. I did.
Hold up, nigga. Hold up.
that nigga slid that nigga with a
Bullshit.
finisher.
I tried.
Hey Don,
Oh
just drop
they
that
finna go
shit
walk him
once I
down.
add him to a match, Don.
Added to what
Ah,
match?
dang.
Hey,
Oh,
you about to
what's
make a
up?
U.S.
What's up, bro?
You
Elimination
know,
Chamber
it
match?
depends on what he at. It depends on what he at, bro.
Hey,
Because you know his connection, bro. You know I ain't trying to beat on one, but you know his connection be.
Almost in
hey,
the
wait,
match
hey,
by
wait. I
himself,
got a
and
question.
niggas is
Wait,
worried
who's all
about
in that match?
Yeah.
Henny.
Who's all in
Yeah,
that
come
fucking
on.
world heavyweight
They
match?
beating on Water. They beating on Water.
it's me, Don,
I know this nigga not getting jumped right now.
And greatness,
Hey,
bro, done for right now.
Oh no, I'm good, bro.
Out of
Never
Eddie.
mind. I'm my
Oh
title.
shit. This nigga getting jumped. Oh lord.
You want to be a
That
heavyweight
nigga
champion,
said, nah, I'm
Dez?
good.
And Edical in it too. I don't know if you said Edical yet.
Talk like one, bro. If you
Nigga
wanna
said
be heavyweight
E.
champion-
Nigga
Yeah.
said edible.
Yeah.
I'm good, bro.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Bro, what do you mean that you're good,
What's up,
bro?
John? What's up, Seth? What's up, Seth?
We got
Not
Don
even-
in there to take care of Edical, bro. It's cool.
Not even so much,
We
nigga.
got Don in there to
Wait,
Don in
who
there
else
to
is
take care of
walking?
him,
I
bro.
got a question.
Bro,
Who else
I
is
can't
walking in there
target this
a
nigga.
champion? Besides me.
Nobody, honest.
Nobody.
But-
It's
bro,
nobody.
why not
All the
even
belts
fucking
pretty
do
much
it,
is
bro?
vacant
It's a
going
higher
into the
draft pick.
year ending.
This is the only one. It's honestly a win lose for you, bro. We're all winning either way, but for you, you can either go in there with a chance to be a heavyweight champion draft pick,
Yeah.
or you can go in there and lose your title.
with a
You know what I
living
mean?
Yeah. This would be crazy though, you know,
Go
because
get
you had no
Yeah,
singles.
nigga.
You had no singles belt all
Right.
season. No all season.
You're
Now you
probably-
got
you're
one
probably
and a
like
high one.
pick 10,
Good
11
reverse.
right now,
Good
bro. You're
reverse
like
TV.
10-11 right now with that global title. You can
Hey,
go
I
in there and,
qualified, Don.
I ain't gonna lie to you,
I hear you,
Don.
brother.
I ain't no hoe. Put me in that match. Fuck Brady.
Said fuck Grady's.
Hey, is everybody
he
else's
did
mic
go
cutting
crazy.
out every so often?
Nah.
He's doing it every now and again.
Nah,
Watch it
it's
now. He
probably-
finna be
it's
actually a
probably
match.
where
What's
my
up, Vortex? Go ahead. Actually be a part of a
where my
match.
shit is
Make
at.
that U.S. title match in Chamber. G.
Look,
Come on.
look. It's
Bro,
already
fuck no.
a match, bro. It's already a
You
match.
could do a US.
Oh,
No, you do got enough
nobody
niggas
like-
for a
oh,
US
I like
chamber.
But hold
Henny,
on.
do
Is
something
Is
on
that
him.
enough
Henny,
people?
do
Is that enough
something on
people?
him. Henny, do something.
Is
Somebody.
Delta what's his
Oh,
name?
What?
Is
I'm
Delta
already doing my
uh,
thing.
is
I'm already doing my
Delta
thing. Why,
ACG
Why you gonna do a move on Leon, nigga? His
Sinbad,
75, nigga.
and what's his face?
I'm trying
And
to play for a
and
super fan
Trav.
on that nigga.
It's not and drop and me spectating. I don't know. Drop. I don't know. It depends on where he at, bro, because his connection.
Me.
All my connections
Alright,
should be
Leon,
Yo, Henny,
these
you
niggas
saw him
got
sending
some
my hair.
fucking snake shit now.
Okay, ACG. Do you want to do? Did you want to do a chamber for yours too, or what you want to do, bro? I'm gonna let you choose that.
I ain't
Watch
gonna
out,
lie.
Up to you.
watch out.
I would do the same thing for you though. Like if I could let you be the last one in, if if you wanted to do that.
Wait, who would all be in it?
It's I'll tell you the people. It's Delta, Trav, Drop. Who else is it? Sinbad and you, and then I'm spectating.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Take that. That's the easiest.
It's up to you. Okay,
That's
bet.
the easiest
It's
in the
next.
world.
Throw me in there.
Y'all,
Trav is in here.
It's already enough. Yes, already. You had your match already, and it's already 5 because I'm gonna be spectating
First match. I'm
because
so
it was a good way. It was a good way to start it off.
Hey, look, Don. I appreciate you for
I
making
was trying to
that.
go for him.
Yeah, it was a good way to start that shit off.
Yeah, look. Muhammad got the shit. Nigga, do it.
Hey, Sammy.
Is he qualified though?
I can't.
The targeting too
I can't, bro.
Trash.
It's too late now. I can't, bro.
terrible, bro.
Look at him. Look at
Got
him.
a stun bar too, nigga.
Get Leon ass
I
out.
like that. Yeah, get his ass.
There you go.
I
Team
don't
up.
know, it's crazy.
Oh no! Oh no!
Shout out.
Oh shit! Oh, he got in the way. He got in the way.
Wow.
Let's go. Let's go.
Watch out.
Oh, the ref. Oh no, Leon on the ground. Oh, you reversed that shit.
What the fuck?
Oh, he's still going for it. He's still going for
I'm
it.
gonna let you get hit with it too.
What the hell
Hold on, watch out.
Damn.
Yeah, Get this dumb ass.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
nigga.
Oh no.
In this nigga.
Yo,
yeah,
they
in
don't
this
put up
nigga.
on this nigga.
Muhammad finna fall,
Hey.
and he's gonna pin him for real. Look at him.
Oh,
Oh
Leon,
no.
don't let him hit that on him, bro. You should've
That's his
helped him, bro.
reseal. Oh no.
Yeah.
Next time, TB, you gotta learn to bounce back, bro.
Yeah, they been jumping the shit out of you, Leon.
Yeah, that the way you're doing it is not gonna work.
Damn, G.
It's not
watch
gonna
out,
work.
watch out, watch out. We got Leon. Oh,
No,
shit,
it's the way I seen the way he try to do it.
Come here, nigga.
I seen the way he try to do it. It ain't gonna
Nah.
work like that.
Nah.
Damn,
Come here,
damn.
nigga.
I'm
No,
cool.
we ain't worried about that.
It's the bounce back. You gonna have to learn to bounce back.
Hey.
You gotta
Somebody
fight, nigga. Come
TP.
on.
Hey,
You have to learn to bounce back.
Hey, do you always kick out like that,
You run
G?
it,
you run it.
bro.
Yo,
No.
Yeah, go ahead and fight. Get in. Get in.
You gotta get in, man.
Get in.
Get your ass in
You
there.
gotta
and
get
fight.
in, bro.
Get in.
Yo, get your ass in there, bro. Go ahead and
Reverse
fight.
TV.
Go
Hey,
fight
look
that
at the
nigga.
bottom right of y'all screen right
Hey,
now.
knock him down, Yuli.
I realize
nigga,
what dangerous
knock him
he is.
down.
They try to get Leon out. They want to get Leon out.
Yeah,
Look.
knock him down.
no.
Look.
Man,
Oh, he woke up to me.
Leon, get
He
your
woke
ass
up
outside
to me.
the ring,
Punch me or
bro.
something.
Get out
He
the
said,
ring.
punch me.
I don't
said
know
punch.
why you so
Look.
scared of supers. You kicked out all my supers. Hell, you should be
Nah,
fine.
because he going to get
I
that
ain't like
bad
TB.
boy right
I'm
here.
much inside
That's
the ring
why.
right now. Hold on. I ain't.
Hell,
I'm not.
hell, he should be just fine. He just kicked
Knock
out
him
a hell
down, nigga.
He said
Oh,
knock
he
him
got
down.
that
Look, you
lead.
let him go.
Weezy, why are
Somebody
you? Hey,
knock
why
this
are
nigga
you?
down.
Why you trying to hit it on me
Bro,
like that,
why
man?
are
I don't
you
give a
niggas not?
fuck.
Why y'all niggas cheat? Hey, y'all niggas need to
I
keep
don't
in
give a
mind that
fuck,
these niggas
nigga.
are
I'm
just
showing you how to
teaming
do
up,
it.
nigga.
Knock this nigga down so we can win the match.
Somebody on the ground now. Is it whoever on the ground or just Leon?
Hey, what
Leon, I
Leon and
want that
TB? Y'all
nigga.
gotta
I
lock
want
in.
You had a
him.
guy
Y'all
right
niggas-
there. Look, you got a guy on the ground right. Well,
Nah, I want
not
him.
the champion.
Somebody
Not
get
the
his bitch
champion
ass
don't got
nigga in the ring,
Rezil.
then they jump in
Champion don't
combo
got
after that
Rezil.
shit.
Leave the
That's
champion
crazy.
alone.
That's crazy, bro.
Nah, jumping combo
That's
is
crazy.
crazy word.
Jumping
Hey,
combo
yo,
is crazy,
they
bro.
is.
Joe.
And he's supposed to be and that's supposed to be your friend over there.
I'll fight you, Weezy.
This is
Damn,
crazy, bro.
what when you just in
Yeah.
NWO before the 19
Yeah, he
That's
was,
crazy.
but you
Jumping
see,
in
yeah, he
NWO,
don't care
bro.
no more. He don't care.
Crazy, bro.
DB, I'm
Damn.
letting you know now to
He
say
don't
what
care.
the fuck you want, bro.
Look, he's throwing the finishers and everything. Look,
most
Woodard
likely
don't
gonna
care.
get out.
Get combo, get
Bro,
his ass out.
DB,
He
move.
playing you
I
dirty. Get him out.
promise you,
Hey,
cuz.
Weezy,
Nah.
What up?
kick
All
this
right,
shit off.
DB.
No,
Kick
he
this
ain't
shit
got
off.
Rezil. Leave the
cuz.
champion
You
alone. He
don't,
ain't got no
hey,
Rezil.
well,
That's what
you
I'm saying.
ain't
He
about that life.
bothering me.
You ain't
You say he
about that life.
bothering
You gonna
you.
kick his head off, bro.
Oh, he
Hey,
said
nah,
do
he
it.
go.
Coming over here.
He
Look
said
at
do
him.
it. He said do it.
You can
He
try
said do it.
I mean, you get the
Oh
You gonna,
shit.
opportunity.
My
bro.
You
fault.
said I want Big Weezy to win. Hey, the odds is probably in his favor. I don't know.
Nah, maybe.
Bro, this game
Yo,
sucks.
this
Targeting is
game too.
terrible.
Yeah, this
Oh,
game
you got it, bro. No,
Oh,
no,
one
no
more
points.
move. One more
Rated
move.
wants Big Wheezy to
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
That nigga's
Oh
weird.
Big
no.
Weezy is crazy, bro.
Calling him Big
Big
Weezy
Weezy
Oh.
is
is crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
Big
how
Weezy's
Watch
crazy.
out.
how much you had to
How
pay him?
Move! Everyone move! Let him do
He
it.
said
Let's
the Big
go.
Said that they
Weezy's
would have been all
crazy.
over this nigga, bro.
He's
Oh,
leaving.
And what I saw you too,
The hell?
nigga. Nah, it could be for you, my nigga.
Go ahead
This
in there,
shit
water.
wasn't for
Have a good
you.
time. The water's fine, bro.
Weezy.
I know who I want, man. Fuck that. I'm going to go get his
Who you
ass.
want?
Nope. No, you better go fight Henny. You go fight Henny. You know, you go fight Henny.
Nah, nigga, come
Leon,
here.
you running
I
you a
want
track
that
star
shit
now?
clip too, my nigga.
Yeah, I just seen him running.
Not fucking with that
Yeah,
shit.
I'm
look
ducking
at
the
that nigga walking
competition.
down
I'm ducking the competition,
there.
bro. You go fight somebody else.
Y'all won't jump Leon. Y'all no balls. Y'all won't jump him.
Look at him.
Y'all
Hell
won't get
yeah,
his
if
ass
he
done.
stop running, that nigga's like a slippery cat out
I'm
there,
not gonna
man.
lie,
Shit.
Weezy is the only nigga I
Man, when the
don't
hell
really
ever
want
seen
to
I have
fight
that? What the
if
fuck?
he win this.
I think it's that version
So
of
I
him.
pray that he don't win.
TB, where did you
Why you
come
praying he don't
from?
win?
Cause I fought him a million
He
fucking
said
times.
Big Weezy,
I
dude.
don't
Nigga,
like that
yeah,
nigga.
I ain't,
nigga,
bro.
this
I ain't,
pressure, bro.
I do that.
Look at them out
That's
there.
all I got this.
He ain't got
Oh,
Rezil. Y'all leave him alone. Oh, fuck.
See? That's actually crazy.
Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
And no.
Oh shit!
No, he's still in, though. Still in.
I forgot to pin this. Imagine he just RKO'd this nigga.
Thank you.
Like in the middle of the
Hey,
goddamn.
then leave me alone, then.
TB,
Nah, I
get
ain't
one of
gonna
them in
do
the
that to
ring.
you.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Why?
Who's that?
No,
Yo,
why?
Kick out glitching in 4K is insane,
No
TB.
way.
Is that a kick out
Oh,
glitch? Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, he kick out glitching.
No, he kicking out clean. He kicking out clean. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it.
That's
Yo,
it, bro.
they
Leon,
looking at
no,
it,
bro.
doubling this nigga. Hey,
Consider it
yo.
clip.
Literally.
So was that not? Look at it. He just kicked out.
No.
Spear Leon. Spear
Bam,
Leon.
get him.
was clean.
Send him in. 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 Send him in.
Go in the ring. Go in the ring.
Send him in.
Go in the ring. Go in the ring.
Oh, he right there. He
Ain't
ready.
no
I want to see
way.
this.
He right there. He
I wanna
ready.
see this. Get his
Look,
back.
Don,
Go.
listen, hear me out. I think the whole
Combo, help me,
kick out
bro.
glitch thing is bullshit. Hey, Combo, help him, bro. That's your man's Combo, help him, bro.
Don't help him. He was out there jumping combo. He ain't helping him.
No,
Tell
what
Weezy
the
I
fuck?
said hit the
He was
big.
fighting for his
This
life,
is
nigga.
Big
He
Brother
knew
Leon
what
with
he
a
was
super
doing.
fan. And he just did it too, just for you, Rated. Just for you.
Damn.
Tutors.
Go.
He wanted to kick his damn head off and he did that.
Nah,
Yeah, he said this who he
niggas
wanted.
jumping me, bro.
He
Niggas
said this who he
jumping
wanted.
help me.
They're jumping me, bro.
Nigga,
Straight
never
up.
mind. Nigga, talk
Now it's time for Woodard to go now. Now y'all got to get him.
Yeah, facts.
we are
Yeah,
not winning
time for
that
him to go.
universal this year.
Yeah,
God
yeah,
damn.
it's time
They
for-
talking
it's
about
time
help
for
me.
him
He
to
gonna jump. He
I
gonna
was
jump
gonna
me
be
outside the ring.
match and end of the review.
Yeah, they trying to jump
Yeah, he ain't got
NWO reunites
Rezil.
for one night only, bro.
He
Help
done
me.
made
I
enemies
said
with wrong people.
NWO
That's
reunites Nice,
Bro,
man. Come on, man.
he
3 on 2.
He didn't.
Three
He
on
didn't
two.
make
You
it
ain't qualified, TB.
NWO. NWO. NWO.
He said,
You
"Air that shit
qualified
out."
or
He
what?
said, "Air that shit out."
No.
He hit the
No,
six
yeah.
though. He just got to hit the fin.
NWO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Air that shit out.
I can still hear myself on the fucking thing, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Combo playing.
Henny, pack his motherfucking ass up.
Oh shit.
Double me. Do it.
Come on. Run.
Damn. They stumping
Pack
his
his
ass
ass
out.
the fuck
Holy
up, Henny.
shit.
Yeah, he finna pack you up. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh Lord. He finna go for the super.
Oh, no, he got-
Oh, look at that.
Oh, man, get your silly ass.
Yeah.
Hey,
Look at him.
Lonzo.
Look at him.
These niggas are just teaming the whole match. Hey,
Bam.
walk out with the title like this.
No way.
This
For
nigga's
the
alive,
one.
bro. There's no way.
Good kick out.
Crazy.
That's what kind of shit what is do. Oh, he hit another one. Look at him. He going off. He's saving one in the chamber for the one. Good kick out, Henny.
That shit crazy.
One going rampage right now. He going panda. He going rampage right now. I told y'all now he gotta go. I said it.
Oh, I can't even reverse it, low.
Yeah.
Oh,
You fell.
Up off my dick combo.
Nigga, hey.
bam.
This nigga,
Oh, he's running.
I
Run.
ain't gonna lie though.
Yeah, he ain't hit nobody.
No. Yo, you can't.
He
Yo.
He didn't hit nobody.
I broke it up because
Yeah.
when I tried to strike
you
him.
could. You
I
could.
ain't gonna lie. I need y'all to get Wood up out of there. He busted me
Yeah.
down.
I told y'all gotta get Wood out.
Get his ass up out of there. Get him out of there, bro.
I'm trying to get the fucking ring, bro. Game.
Yeah, what a running this shit, man. Get your scary ass on. Oh shit.
For
Oh,
the instant stun. Who got super? Hey, we got a couple people. TB qualify.
Yeah, let me
Henny ain't
qualify.
gonna do it.
Hey,
Henny ain't gonna do it.
yo. People probably say NWO was there, and he over there. TB.
Bro. For the one.
There's no more teams.
Two. It's not. I know.
Combo, did he replace you already, bro?
I think
No,
he
it's
did.
no teams, bro.
Sound like it to me.
No, bro, I didn't replace you, bro. I'm actually, if it's not you, combo, well, if it's not TB, because you know I root for the champion. If it's not TB, I want you to win.
Seth, get this motherfucker.
Get him out of here.
Don't get him.
What the fuck?
Oh.
Get your motherfucking ass on, man.
Wait,
Get Wheezy with him.
Oh, no, he's
No, you
still.
gotta do the you had to do the other one, the little regular.
Yeah.
The new one.
Do the running
stun
one,
bar.
nigga. What the fuck?
Nigga,
Wait,
my target was fucked up, nigga.
Champ,
Took
remember,
your
you
fucking
qualified.
time.
Do whatever,
Look,
you
bro,
know.
Look, boom.
You got him. There you
No,
go.
you trying to make
Come on,
him
my
waste the
nigga.
super.
Yeah, he got his quality. He got his thing.
He go
He got his thing.
No,
Don't waste that
you
super,
yelled
bro.
at the nigga. Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
You want any set? Right there for you.
Right there, combo.
Oh, yeah,
no,
bro.
no way. He's gonna
Right
do
there,
it.
combo.
No way.
He said, no, look, he doing it. He doing it. He doing it. He doing it.
No way.
There's certain niggas who need to get out of here.
Oh, man.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Y'all be making enemies with the wrong niggas. That's why y'all.
Nah, you know,
Oh,
That's what I'm
man.
saying.
it looks like super things on in the game, in the
Y'all be
next
making
game.
enemies with the wrong.
Is back in the game? It made its return?
I'm saying it's not in the game, bro. It
y'all
doesn't
be
look like
making
it. I'm
enemies
watching
being
someone
weird.
play it now.
Yeah,
It doesn't look like it's in
they
the game.
jumped
That shit
combo out there
trash,
for
nigga.
nothing, bro.
Did you see the kick out system?
I know.
Hey,
So,
well, no, I
hey,
haven't seen
hey,
the kick out
so-
system.
Look, he doing that weak ass.
Oh,
shit
this
again.
one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He back.
Oh, I thought he broke it at first.
Damn, he didn't get it.
Good
either.
shit, man. Good shit.
He was targeting Weezy. Damn, that nigga TB kicking now.
Yeah, he locking in now.
Kick out glitching, bro. That's why.
Yeah, that was a kick out glitch too. Yeah.
Y'all watching my stream right now.
Yeah.
When Leon had him in that.
But yeah,
that
it
first
doesn't
shake,
look
he
like
kicked out
super
glitch.
things are in the
Watch
game
this.
anymore.
We're gonna see. I need to see
Oh, I
tomorrow.
ain't gonna do it.
Tomorrow, I think is everything. You know what the juicy shit we want to see.
Hopefully, bro. I've been waiting, bro. I'm trying to see everything.
Yeah.
Damn, I went from number 30.
Oh shit. You got a
Oh.
super fifth from up there? You
Oh,
got
he's
one?
got super fin.
And you super finning the champion. He ain't got reseal. He ain't got reseal.
Crazy.
Come on, TB.
Fuck all the bullshit.
Top 14.
Fuck all the bullshit.
If he tired, hold on. He ain't tired.
Hit him with that shit.
Don't worry about Weezy, bro. That shit ain't get hit with nothing, bro.
Oh, it skipped over. Oh, it skipped over.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man.
You know what we gotta do. You know what we gotta do.
Oh man.
Damn.
Okay,
I
so
love you, bro.
TB is no more after this. Whoever win this, they not defending no more until WrestleMania. So that's gonna be your last time trying to get it for the final time. But that's gonna be your match right there. Whoever win this, I ain't gonna have him
Nigga, he get a
defending nothing.
rematch call? Oh yeah, he do.
Yeah,
I'm
yo, he
tweaking.
get
My
one.
fault. My fault. I'm tweaking.
Yeah.
I'm tweaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
Now everybody else, the other two, now the other
bro.
ones, the other, yeah, you did good, bro. You did good, bro. But the other ones though, everybody else like the global and the heavyweight, those people, it's no rematches, no nothing.
Hey, what you know what happens if you choose the the universal? No, so triple threat, nigga.
yeah.
It's gonna be a triple threat, bro.
Yeah,
If you
same way
choose,
the
yeah,
Don did last year. That's what he did last year, didn't he?
yeah, I did.
Nah,
Now the other ones, 30, those don't got nobody in it. So if you
No,
choose the
30,
heavyweight,
no.
if the heavyweight don't got nobody in it,
There you go.
30, he won the
What
Royal
the
Rumble.
fuck?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
oh, he doing a
Oh, we
buckle
fucking
bomb.
it up.
He did a buckle bomb.
Oh, that was that was a net.
Yeah, why y'all
I
jumping
ain't
that nigga like
I
that
ain't
though?
I don't give a fuck. We don't
He
care.
deserve it.
Somebody get
I ain't
Weezy,
gonna
yo.
lie.
Yeah, we
I ain't
don't
gonna lie. He
care. We
deserve
don't
it.
care.
That
He
nigga.
say he
I was
deserve
thinking
it.
that nigga.
Bro,
That
they're
nigga been
just
weird the whole
watching you
match.
niggas fight. They just watching them
Did you
fight.
not
Like,
see what that nigga did?
Yeah, that nigga been weird. He been jumping people the whole match and shit.
He gonna
I ain't
kick
gonna lie,
out. He'll
Don.
be all right.
I ain't gonna
Hey,
lie,
somebody
Don.
need to
I ain't
be
gonna
in there
lie.
ready. Somebody need to be in there ready to hit him with somebody. He ain't got nothing. There you go, right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Hit him
He
with the
still don't got
orange. Oh, he
rezeal.
rolled
Yeah,
him with the orange stuff.
yeah.
Look at
Y'all
that.
need
Look
to
at
get
that.
out his way.
That's
Y'all need
it.
to get out his way. Yeah, there you go. You should have
He
DP'd him
rolled him
though.
with the
You
orange
should have
stuff.
rolled him.
They actually punch him.
Nah,
He
it's
still don't got
crazy.
rezeal either. Yeah, he ain't got rezeal in there. There you go. Yeah.
That's true.
Good day. Let's go, fellas. Hey, corner.
See, B
Y'all
Dog
got
take
that nigga
notes.
speaking
B
to the
Dog take
corners,
notes.
nigga.
That's how you supposed to do that. But good shit.
Bro, y'all
Corner,
not seeing this
nigga.
nigga Weezy house, bro.
yeah, no,
They corner
they're
hit.
letting him.
Hey,
on,
hey, here
bro.
we go, fellas. Here we go. Final three, nigga, for that big belt. Let's get it.
This nigga Weezy be the man
Look
one
at
time.
him.
Like, oh, y'all gotta do this. Y'all gotta beat Weezy ass.
Hey,
How
hey.
about
He
that?
said y'all beat Weezy ass.
Let me see
One
those
of us,
DMs
nigga.
between y'all. Let me
So one
let
of
me see
us
those real
corner
quick.
Weezy. You a sweetie ass nigga, bro. What
Let me find out this
I
was all
really didn't
planned,
think
bro.
who was. I mean, not
Nah,
who.
this was never
I
a
didn't
song.
think Henny was
Never
gonna do
talk
that
about
to
hey,
that.
you.
y'all ain't down to put
Let
the
me
IC
find
title
out.
up in this match right now?
Nigga said, fuck all that end of shit, nigga.
Oh shit, bro.
Y'all want to kill two birds with one stone?
You talking about
No,
kill
I
two birds
missed
with
it.
one stone? What the
No.
what I miss?
It's up to the.
Oh,
Well,
damn,
they don't
damn.
have
He's
to.
talking about the IC and the uni. That's
Yeah,
what he's
just throw it
talking
in there.
about.
Just
God,
throw it in there.
no.
Yo,
Oh my
throw it.
God.
Throw
Hell
that bitch
no.
up in there.
Hell no.
Oh shit.
Now y'all can start over here. Y'all want part of.
Come on, Seth.
Oh,
Come on, Seth.
he trying to do. He trying to qualify. He trying to get another super.
Yeah,
already
well,
qualified, dude.
I'm trying to get another super too. We all finna try to get a super.
You got this combo.
It's no end up yet, remember?
I know, but I just said though. If TB didn't win, I was rooting for combo. I know it's a huge coinkydink, but I promise you that's not what
I
I'm
ain't gonna lie
doing.
to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, Henny. You done beat me every fucking time I done had a title match. Go ahead and do this time too, bro. For all the big belts, nigga, you better not fucking lose.
I hope I don't.
Give me another match.
But if you do,
You had, bro, you
I
had
ain't
your
gonna lie.
match.
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm
But
bored.
but
I
you
need
get to enjoy another
win.
chamber after this though. It's probably not gonna be as long, but it's gonna be another chamber after this.
I hate you. I hate you. Who let
Yeah.
you become Eric Bischoff? Go back to Teddy.
He said go back to Teddy. Well, because Teddy, the first thing Teddy would have said is, "I see what I can do. I look and see." Yeah, doing all this beating around the bush.
You got
Uh,
one-on-one match
What
with
the fuck is that? Oh my god.
I don't know.
Oh,
Ugh.
let me fight you
Trying to build
again.
his super, you gonna let him?
I don't got a sig. I was gonna try to sig this motherfucker. I don't got a sig.
Yeah, if this nigga get that
You
punk
do
kick,
have
I'm
a
gonna let you
Sid.
know right now. Y'all gonna be fucked up.
He does now.
Shit, man.
Pretty sure he has one.
Done. Let me fight you.
Fight me for what? I got a match already. You can watch it though.
I don't
Oh, he just
know.
BB.
Oh.
He didn't
Y'all
press
lucky you
BB
got
yet.
it.
If-
If, imagine if that was John Cena, bro. Imagine if it was Cena, bro.
Come on, bro.
Oh God, that's the kid that
Bruh.
was so fire.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
for the win, for
Yeah,
both of them to use their reseals.
yeah, nasty,
Crazy.
nasty.
You would have pulled this when I was Taker.
Now
No,
that was
that's
the
that's
craziest shit, bro. That was one of the craziest
Nah,
endings we done seen,
that's
bro.
forever.
Yo,
Like some of the craziest shit.
How the fuck am I'm the alright.
Shout out Yuli.
Damn, you the only one with damn sun bars, ain't it? Damn.
Man, that's what it feel like. Like shit.
That was me the whole
Glass,
game, bro.
glass
Hey, no, it
shenanigans.
wasn't, nigga.
Yo,
Double
TB
check
got
that fact,
fucked.
bro.
Stream. How many
Yo.
times did I get Nick,
Get
Sig,
to
or
my
Finn the whole
screen.
game?
Nigga, to my screen.
a lot.
Hey,
Stream.
hey.
A lot, right?
Yeah, a lot. But it was bound to happen though.
Hey,
It was
hey,
bound to happen,
you
that's
remember?
fine.
You remember that multi-man that we was
Fooling.
in? It was like
Oh
me,
my god.
you, Weezy,
Oh my
World
god.
Star.
Yeah.
Remember you and Weezy, y'all goddamn jumping my ass. Hey,
I don't remember anything,
karma's a
bro.
bitch, bro. Hey,
I don't remember
He
anything.
tried it. He tried it.
You just yapping at this point.
Once
I
it's
just
two people in the
like-
corner and that person got a fin, there's no way they can reverse that, is it?
Nope.
nah.
Oh
said what?
shit, they just cooked.
Hey, what happened?
They have to
What happened?
add that shit next year, bro.
What's it like,
it-
multiple
it's someone
people or
versus
is it a
wide.
reverse? Oh, you talking about a reverse?
Yeah, just reverse.
I see
I
something
don't
for
see
the
it.
whole game, nigga.
Sig or Finn, something.
Seth,
And they all three still got their reason.
burn it the fuck
This shit,
down,
man.
nigga.
Mm. He's a free X.
To be honest, I fuck with all three of these niggas. As long as T didn't win.
As long as TB didn't
Hating
win.
ass
As
nigga.
long as TB ain't win.
Yeah, guess what? You can't say no more.
No way.
Well, no, you had this.
Oh, he did
No
it.
way.
He did it, bro.
No way.
He did it, bro.
No way,
No
you didn't
way.
press
Bro,
B.
he
No
did it,
way.
bro.
No way.
No way.
No way.
Bro.
You didn't press B.
And
Oh
he's,
my god.
bro, he finna try to finish it off nice.
Oh, you can't see me.
Bro. You got it.
I'm Uncle Shuffle.
Trying to get him out. For the one, kicking out.
Yeah,
There's
this
no
Finna go for the
way,
next.
bruh.
Going for the
Yeah.
next. Look at for the 1, 2. Still
Who's the
kicking
one
out. They're
that
both
did
up.
not
But that was
get
good
so
though, bro.
far? Hold
It's
up.
still good, bro.
Who didn't press
Like-
B?
Who was
Weezy
it?
didn't
Well,
press
Weezy
B.
didn't. Weezy didn't. And that's where he
We'll
getting
talk
a
about
damn
that.
Oh,
pedigree.
he hit him with a pedigree. Oh.
For the 1. Good kick out.
That nigga said he had the craziest flashback.
Oh shit.
Hell
Oh
no.
shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Let me build up. Thank you. Watch out.
Oh, so now you want to hit on Henny?
Oh my god.
God, I just lost.
Come on.
He's in that corner.
Oh,
Oh!
hold on, what?
No,
No, you didn't. No, it still hit. It still hit. It still hit. It still hit.
Counted it. And the
Yeah.
roll up.
Yeah,
And the roll up.
he did him the dirtiest way. Yeah, because that was a super. He's a super.
That was a
They
super
only
shit.
get
Yeah.
one win. That sucks. This game is ass.
Hey, yo.
Bro.
Duh.
I would have never expected it. And he did it. Yeah.
Hey,
Not on.
hey, that's your karma, nigga. That's
Hey,
your karma, nigga.
Wheezy. Oh, what the
way.
fuck?
Karma,
No.
nigga.
No
Y'all
way.
niggas jump the
No.
shit out of Leon and,
Hold on,
what's
let
that
me
shit?
see something real quick.
Am I back
Is there
in
no
the
way I
race?
can see it either? No, nigga.
Wow.
Shit, man.
No.
It was both
Yeah,
there.
P. Hey,
Wait.
hey, on a real note, ain't no way Weezy can beat combo, nigga. He couldn't even do it with Hoop in the corner, nigga. GG's combo. Everyone give it up for the fucking man,
Jesus
combo.
Christ,
Give it up
man.
for combo. Let's go, combo. Give it up.
Jesus Christ, man.
That's BS. That should. That's no.
Bruh,
Hey,
that was.
if combo was
Hey,
Roman
look,
right
I
there,
hit-
that
I
would have definitely
hit
been
that
a spear too.
Right when you was
You would
getting
have speared him
pinned.
Yeah.
instead of done that super.
Damn, that's
Nah,
a
we're
damn shame.
definitely
Hey, and you
that's
can
what we
tell-
spear.
nah,
Almost,
and-
Definitely
I almost
spear.
definitely reversed that motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, you
Yo,
can
Henry,
tell the
this-
game was
what
broken
It's
from that
crazy,
moment,
bro.
bro.
This
I think
this
as soon as you
game,
got the
game
please
was
fix
broken,
this.
bro.
I think as
Please
soon as you
fix
get out the
this
corner,
mess,
like as soon as you get out the
man.
corner, I hit it.
That's crazy, bro.
Was it only two
Oh
people left?
man,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
just
he
two.
was
Yeah,
definitely
and it was
left.
like down to it too. They both still got
Hey,
Rezil though.
Don.
They both still got
Hey,
Rezil.
Don.
Yeah.
Hey, Don. Just go ahead and give it a combo, bro. You know, Weezy and who can't even be combo 2-on-1, nigga. Just go ahead and give it a combo, bro. Come on.
Let's wrap it up. We
I
gotta
need
move
you
on
to
to the
put
card.
this-
Make
Nah.
that shit a triple threat at main.
Hey, not gonna lie, Henny.
Nah.
That's
Yo, what's up,
just
bro?
fucking like that's a
I
damn
need you to
shame.
put this triple threat as an elim, bro.
Why is that?
Hey, why they
The
jump the
other one
fuck
an
out of
elim.
water like that?
Because that's how they do in these chambers, man. So you know
Yeah.
when
The
you
other
on
one
stretch
elim,
in there,
bro.
bro.
Bruh, that
It's
nigga
cool,
was being
nigga.
shiesty as
It's just the
hell,
way
bruh.
of the
That
it's just
nigga
the
was
way of the elimination chamber.
bro.
Hey, hold on.
Do,
That nigga
do,
had his
do,
hard.
do y'all two want to run
My
this thing?
alliances right
Do y'all
now.
want to run this thing on low real quick so we can finish this shit?
Make my alliances right now.
Yeah.
Who all in my match?
It's
Fletch.
it's still it's still the
Me,
same
you, and
people.
Fletch, and then
Fiends,
who?
no.
Edico and Don.
Let me set this match up.
Don, 2
Let's get this
fins.
out the way.
So we gonna jump the shit out of Edico. Is what I'm thinking, bro.
Really good. Me fetch you.
Look, Don, if one elim, the other one got to be elim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking we jump the shit out of Edico and then we teach him a lesson. I mean,
Wait,
Mozzie
what?
teach
Look,
him a
you
lesson.
trying to play on my con heart. Yeah, you getting your one falls match.
You should
I'm
jump
just
down
saying.
too. Just
They
fuck up.
make them both one fall. Make them both one fall.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna do this just so we can move it for real. I gotta go edit this match though. I gotta go edit this.
We gotta jump down first.
That happened.
Matter of
Don
fact,
start off the
I'm
match.
gonna give y'all one fin. I'm gonna give y'all one fin.
Henny literally got fucked.
Low health still though.
Like literally, and it's always me. Like,
Bruh, I never seen you like that before ever, bro.
Yeah.
Bless
I've
your
never
heart,
seen
Henny.
that.
I found it as a
Bro, when
super
the nigga
fan.
jumped up in the air, I'm like, bro, it's no way that this nigga's stunned off this shit. And he
I'm saying,
But it's because you
it
reversed.
shows
It's
that I
because you
reversed.
reversed
It
it from the
looked at like
corner.
I reversed. Everything happened.
Shit, at that point, nigga, you should just let the nigga hit it. At that point,
I'm
nigga,
saying,
greatness
so
talking about some who open.
I didn't
thought he
think,
had taken Brian
think that
Breaker.
it was on what's his name.
Did you
Oh,
forget
he
Fall
picked Brian
Okay,
Breaker?
I'm
Oh,
setting it
good.
up now.
So
I
didn't
thought I
think
could have
that
sworn
he
he
was
asked me
gonna
for
be
the
able to
stats and
push me
shit.
off of it, so I wasn't
I
ready
get
for
look,
the
Don. I guess I get to keep my title. Fuck it.
Goodness, that's some BS, man.
Well, I was winning that motherfucker to keep my title
The
anyway.
United States.
That match didn't count.
Yeah, it's still going. I just gotta finish out these two. Putting on low health, they got a fin. They finna rock this shit out real quick. It ain't gonna take long.
He said pull Saquon Barkley and Wayne. What is he talking about?
This shit is
Shake
The
one.
United
insane.
States match about to happen.
Sean Barkley.
That's what he said. He said
Hey,
Weezy
y'all like
winning.
my,
Pull Saquon Barkley and win Weezy.
My new point guard for the Lakers.
All right, the match is
Hey,
ready for y'all. Y'all can join up in
nigga,
here. I hate that it killed the momentum of y'all match.
Hey, who said that? Hey, who said that?
Said what?
Hey, man, who you go for? Any?
I said, fuck that nigga Luka.
I'm just a
Bro,
LeBron
fuck
fan.
you, nigga. Fuck Luka did to you, bitch.
I'm just a
I
LeBron fan.
can feel that LeBron. I used to be like that too. But now
I ain't-
that he's on the Lakers, I can't root
Oh,
for
Jay
them
Uso
because
entrance came out.
I'm a Suns fan.
Yes,
So.
bro. The crowd not even doing anything.
Yeah, it's not even through the crowd, bro. But I don't think that they got the technology to do a crowd entrance like that.
They fixed it. They fixed it this year, so they're not gonna do it again.
Shit, they did the Shield entrance, even though that shit was
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot.
shitty as
Even though
hell.
shit, yeah, they could have done. Oh, and they did do our truth too, actually.
Oh yeah, Jacob Fatu got that Impaler DVT as a fin. That shit insane.
Nigga got the boogeyman. Do that nigga got the boogeyman shit?
And yeah.
His little dance
And
moves
it
and
looked
shit
like
as well.
the lower your overall, the lower
Do
your
he got that
stamina
shit when he
has,
jump on the
starts off
ropes
with.
and backflip?
We don't know.
Yeah, Booker
You
T
said
is
Booker T open.
greatness.
Yeah, he's open greatness.
Who the hell wants Booker T though?
He do. He be playing him talking about he a city girl and
Nice,
stuff.
man. Like,
Tell him go way bear. Tell him way bear. Tell him way bear.
Yeah, he know. I told him earlier. He said I just got fucked over. That's how it is. You got one more chance, Henny.
Triple threat match. Things are now underway with
You had a good career though. Even if you lose this next match, you had an amazing career. Yeah, you got an amazing career. You had the most with Universal. That's some good shit,
I was
man.
gonna have 4. It's gonna about to be 4, but nah. It could have been 5.
Strong Irish
Niggas like TB want to
Say it
break
could have been
matches.
5.
These niggas
TB, he was sitting. He was sitting right. He was screaming it.
The stream, bro. Chat. Did I do anything wrong the whole match?
He was just
Chat.
sitting there.
Can he take advantage?
He said TB broke it.
Dodges.
Yeah, TB did break it.
Jumping knee strike.
He did break
Lights
it.
out.
Hey,
He steers
What's up?
clear.
Remember, yeah, you still next, bro. You still next, bro. After that, we're doing the heavyweight. After that, the heavyweight.
Rollins.
so is to elimination.
Yes, yours is Elimination Chamber. We putting yours
Of
in the
course
chamber
it
for
is,
the
Trav.
for the first time ever. For the first time ever, Trav, you gonna be in a history making match, Trav. You gonna be that history. Yep.
Oh my
Then you gonna
God,
be in a history making match, Trav. You gonna be in the very first
Hey, let me get in it, bro. I wanna make you
U.S.
too.
Elimination Chamber match, Trav. You gonna be in the very first one. You can
Who's
put your
in it?
name
Hey,
on
who's in
it.
it?
It's
Brady
Trav. No, hell no, Brady ain't in it.
Brady, and he's the one that was
Brady don't get to
That's
get shit. He
fucked
was
up.
the
No.
first nigga eliminated.
Ah,
He don't get to get
GG's.
shit.
Yeah, that's why I say his stuff is over. Who is it though? It's Delta, Drop, ACG. He's gonna be last though. ACG last. What's the name? Trev, and I'm missing one. Oh, what's the name? What's the name? Sandman. Sinbad. Yeah,
Jerry the King Lawler.
yeah. Jerry the King Lawler. Yeah, him.
Yeah. Stipulation and leave no stone
Oh
unturned.
man,
Use
this is
everything
beautiful.
at your disposal to
Especially
get the win.
I just want y'all to know that Gunther is last, so don't hit him until the last person come out, please and thank you.
Weezy did.
Hey Don, is
He
Juice here
wasted
today?
zero time, nigga.
I think he's gonna be here. Yeah. Oh, he's right there.
Weezy
Look,
did not hesitate.
he's right there. You don't see him? He right there.
My bad. No, I didn't look to the names. I was just making sure because I haven't seen them all day.
Oh yeah. And after that, yeah, like after this after their chamber is ours.
I don't get noticed when people join me. That's why.
I had a great day today.
And then after that, well, we got the IC to wrap it up, and I think that's the last match. It's gonna be a good one. Yeah, the IC is to wrap it up. And that's all the matches. Just 6 on the thing. Yeah.
Damn, that nigga always lose.
Wrap
That is
it up.
super shit.
Yeah.
I got holiday and a combo going.
Already, yeah.
He is. I told y'all, bro. Might as well get the title, bro.
For the one.
Can't lace his boots.
Good shit. Combo winning title, bro. Have your WrestleMania moment, bro. He say fuck it. He want the IC. He don't care about this one. But I'm pretty sure he gonna try to win
but
it anyway.
It's not guarantee he gonna win that one fall. That's probably why.
To at least take something.
Y'all know what Combo might do? That IC? He might put that. He might put this build up too.
Oh, you think he doing all that? Now?
Is Combo built like that though?
You think he doing all that now?
Hey, nigga is a dog. I ain't gonna give it to him this year.
Shoulder, elbow, all affected with that.
Last year, I don't know.
So last year you don't know. And towards the end, he was he was the Reason Reaper.
Combo is playing in words.
Wait, is Weezy here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's
I don't know.
Oh, he said chilling. Yeah, I just heard him. He said I'm chilling.
Oh, okay.
They don't move. Shit.
That wasn't even like
The Viper might be
thing.
feeling
I
a bit
didn't know who's here.
Oh shit! I thought he was going
There's a reversal on Rollins.
Oh shit.
Yeah, not the combo. Oh shit.
You're fucked up for that, bro.
It might be over, Chuck.
I'm lucky late, but my mic was out. But when you said is he even here?
Yeah, he's here. He's here.
Bro,
And he hit him with the super fin. And you see his Combo taking it home for the 1, the 2, and the new Universal Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. So he's most definitely taking in a championship into WrestleMania. Good shit, man.
You see how they did all this to take out little Leon? That was your fucking target right there. That was a target right there, nigga. They should have done all that for this
Combo.
man. Good shit, Combo.
That shit weak, bro.
Good shit,
Well,
Combo.
what happened?
You the
What
man.
happened to you?
You the man again, bro. You the man again, Combo. Until I get my title tonight, nigga, then I'm the man.
All right, just get the next one.
Hey, Combo.
It ain't fun, is it?
That match broke, bro.
It ain't
Hey,
fun.
Yeah, I know, man.
You had a whole super fin too.
He can't get it done. He just can't get it done, man. He just can't get it done, man. What
Nah,
you
when you used to that fast ass last bar and then you go back to the slow medium. Like
Shit is different, huh?
Hey, good luck, Weezy. Maybe next year though, buddy.
He still got an
What you mean next year?
opportunity.
He still got one more opportunity.
Yeah, he still got one more.
Me and both.
I ain't
Pick
gonna
up
lie,
the
bro.
IC.
I can't wait to see Yuli be the first nigga eliminated.
Nigga, what?
Nigga
Yuli, I'm not gonna
is.
lie. Yuli, I'm not gonna lie, bro. You can't fuck with none of them niggas in that match. Besides Don, probably. But I don't even
Shit,
think
he
I
can't
fuck
even
with
fuck
that.
with me.
That's what I see. That's what I said, though. Like, I
Don,
don't know.
what are you talking about? Don, you can't fuck with me.
All right, we're gonna see
I
after
know
this
we
match.
talking
Our
about
match is next. Our match
Hey,
next. Just be ready.
Don, look, nigga get
Yeah.
Roman Reigns and feel like he a god.
Yeah, he do. That's what I forgot he had them too. Shit.
And
But
he on God
shit.
mode, ain't it? He on God
Yeah,
mode,
look,
ain't
I
it?
forgot about
Nah,
that.
hold on.
You know, Yuli, you might, just, I ain't gonna disrespect you too much. I see you in the match, man. I forgot you had Roman.
How many times you beat you this year?
There's so many, a lot.
Nigga,
How many times
Yuli
it beat
done
me
had Ali.
once?
Nigga that had Ali all fucking year, damn near.
You can
All
show
right,
out.
so the U.S. title matches now. Trev, need you. Drop, need you. ACG.
Gonna lie, I feel like
Nope,
Peculiar
ACG
gonna
in
win
here.
this.
You
Hey,
think so?
Peculiar,
If he playing like how he was playing,
if you playing like how you was playing when you was tagging
One
with
more.
me,
One more.
Played
One
no
more.
yeah,
hey
One
combo,
more.
yeah,
One
hey
more.
type
combo.
shit,
What's
How I
up?
feel? What's up, champ?
Bro, I need one more. I need one more.
type
What's up,
shit.
champ?
I win every belt. What's up, champ? What's up? I need,
Look at
I
him.
need one more. I
Look
need
at
one
what's
more.
up,
I
champ.
need one more. I
Wait,
need one more.
combo. You won the open weight?
Yeah, I went up with. I've won every belt but the
Yeah.
IC.
Dang. Well, it's on you.
I need one more.
Always has been.
When do you get your IC shot?
Today.
Tonight.
Hey, where's
Oh.
the old
Fuck it, bitch.
more.
Shit. I was gonna say fuck it, combo. Put that
It's
bitch
one
up.
fall.
Why you in here?
What?
Hey.
Oh, never
What the
mind.
hell?
It's
Is
a
another
triple threat.
match?
No, this is not ours. Ours is next, bro. This the U.S. Ours is right after
Is
this
that
one.
a triple? Is y'all's a triple? Is y'all's a triple
There's a
threat or
chamber
fatal
too.
four?
No, there's a chamber.
No, I'm talking about
My bad.
combo. Fuck them.
There's a triple threat.
SPG gonna
One
win this.
fall. I
You say ACG gonna win this? All right, who else I'm waiting for? Drop,
who all
drop.
winning
I
the
need
match?
you. I need drop, and I need who that last person I need. Let me see. Sinbad, yeah.
I'm helping
Drop and
make something
Sinbad.
for my sister's
Oh,
baby shower. I'll be right back.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna
What'd
need
he say?
like 5, 10
Baby shower?
10
Yeah, my
minutes.
sister's having a baby shower. I'm helping with something. I'll be back.
Oh, good luck.
You a
Good luck with
zesty
that
ass
5 to
nigga,
10
bro.
minutes.
Man,
Good luck with that
Come on,
5 to
bruh.
10 minutes. Replace.
Come on.
Send
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
gag.
you getting
You're in the match.
replaced, bro. You
Let
here
me
gagging,
see.
man.
You know what
Yeah,
I
put
do?
some
You know what
gag
I
in
do for you? You know what I do for you? He in here. I put a bot in
You
there
do
for your
AI.
honor. Yeah, I put a bot in for your honor.
Oh wow. Look, I'm surprised Brady didn't say, "Come on, Don."
Put me in there. Why you gotta put a bot?
He's not in here, that's why.
He would have most definitely been asking. Who was he? Hulk Hogan still?
I'm about to go tell him, like, yeah, they're about to
Yeah,
win
he's
the
Hulk
game.
Hogan, yeah. He Hulk Hogan,
Hey Don, I was gonna say, fuck it, let Raider come back for a day.
He got to sign
might
papers,
win.
NDAs, NDAs.
Hey, look, Don. Hey, Don, look, he might win and pull a CM Punk and leave you.
Fucking weak. He will. I got it now, dude.
Whoa.
Get shit on, dude. Y'all all suck. It's a low tier match, dude. I'm telling you, he was all in the damn thing doing this, bro. He was all in the damn thing doing this with the first match. He was saying y'all was all bad, but he wanted Weezy to win that second match though.
You're done.
Shit. You just got to beat the shit out of him. But after you beat him, yo.
Everyone in this page, Andrew McIntyre, and the pods surrounding the ring are occupied with. You know that?
Pretty much.
Even ECG obviously would be too. But
Oh, pretty much. Oh yeah. Let me say something now while I'm in here.
it's crucial to be the superstar who uses the steal to their advantage.
So I do want to give let me say something real quick. Get this right to make sure I say the right damn thing. So I did want to give a shout out to a different organization, even though we're doing our pay-per-view. I've been in my ways. I'm trying to branch out a little bit, network with other people, but I want to give a shout out to TPW. They putting on some good content over there, and in y'all spare time, check them out Monday through Friday, and check out this show.
Bro, I messed around like 2 minutes.
Jesus Christ. I can't tell you this though. I heard something that. Yeah, no more UWA guys. It's just a promotion just to look at them. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I had heard it already.
TPW, I know y'all listening. Why the fuck y'all kicked me out the 7, man? I was about to lock my character, man. Now that you talking about those 3 letters, I'm
Yeah, kick him. Oh yeah, you can get out. Yeah, you can get out, ACG.
Let me say this. Fuck TPW.
Oh, I can get out. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, you can get out.
Fuck
Yeah,
TPW.
you can get out. You wait until the end. Wait until the end. Come on in, Trav, beat that bottle.
I'm a throw him in.
Yeah. That, hold on. Who is that? Who is that? Oh yeah, that's Delta. My bad. Yeah, Delta, beat that bottle.
Hey, are you
Who? Me? No, this the US. Yeah, this ACG man. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to put I put it at the end. I forgot to put it at the beginning. I'm sure. All right, Sinbad. I'm watching you.
Isn't that one of those?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those. Go. Yeah.
It is one of those.
John just thinks Sinbad hasn't been apparently big bad Sinbad since I beat him.
Go ahead in there, Sinbad. The water's fine.
Something's about to go sides, but you know that TPW, they literally wanted me back in that, so I could beat.
I come back.
I did it.
Oh.
About that.
Yeah, no.
So he said I'm getting my ass beat.
You gotta get better. I wish Peculiar was in this motherfucker. But you sound just like him.
If he was, he probably. And I would probably. Hold on. Do you think he would have been? I know he could have handled fucking Sinbad and fucking Delta and fucking everybody. Yeah, I want to see how he fight against ACG, like how he was fighting. I don't know. He's different with Hulk Hogan though.
It wouldn't come down.
Delta go in the ring, and Trav, y'all can all go in the ring. Y'all don't got to rest out there. Go ahead in there, Trav. Go fight.
But it comes to a point where if that nigga kicks out of his super team,
What is this bot still in this match?
Is it trying to force the standing like that?
Why is the bot still in the match? The bot hitting. I seen the bot hitting big boots and shit. It hit big boots and shit. Like, bruh.
Just roll them up. What the fuck?
Get the bot out, bro. Oh yeah, roll me up. And you can go ahead and fight too after you do it.
I have a chance. I'm probably
Go ahead, Sinbad. Let me tell y'all something about Sinbad. Y'all gonna, I know y'all ain't gonna want to, but he ain't gonna come to y'all. Y'all gotta go to him.
I probably want to hit that box.
Pretty much.
Oh my God, pin him. Yes, him. I'm out of here.
Get him the fuck out.
Oh my gosh, this nigga's rolling nigga up and shit. Who the fuck is Undertaker?
Okay, that's Trev. Oh damn, that was kind of a little dirty, wasn't it?
He's having fun, man.
So he got the jumping tombstone?
No, the super is
He got both.
This one have both.
No, that one does. Oh, nah, that's the default. That's the default one. You don't got the. You got the.
Jesus Christ. Delta, hit this damn bot with one of your fins or something.
Yeah, y'all aren't pinning him without a pin or a sig bearing him.
Bro, y'all can put him in the That nigga
There
is
you go.
still in
Thank
the
you.
match.
Yeah, still in here to the end. Still in here to the end. Hitting big boots and shit. He's still kicking out. The bot's still kicking out.
It'll be out after this. No way, kick out.
What the hell y'all doing, G?
Yo, I promise you guys, you'll get the clear fit
No
match.
way.
Like, just wait. Please. I promise you.
He's got, was that the resale? Was that the resale or
No,
nothing?
that wasn't the reason. He kicked out. He already used the reason. He used the reason like a random like move that Trav hit him with. It's like a random running power slide.
Oh god.
Told y'all, you don't have to use a finisher. You build like me. God, more than I would. I need to see who wastes a pin on.
I looked away. I turned back. I thought I heard a countdown, but the bot was still in.
Don Larkin had a bottom out, man. You think that nigga the bingo?
I know he would have been going. First round. Like before the next person even coming out.
He made it to the last person who had a fight.
Yeah, he made it to the last person. Everything.
Yeah, true.
It's gotta be concerning.
I think you would have rather had that.
Said
bot.
B-Dog
I
was
would
the
have
bot.
rather bullied, yeah. The ball at least would have fucking helped me, maybe.
Bro, hey Malik, I appreciate you, bro.
What, for me having a job?
Yes.
Yes.
Defenses are sharp in this series.
My job.
But this is why I was saying, Malik, I'm still giving you #1 contender for the Global, though. Because I ain't get the picture with it.
I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Bro, who's gonna...
Wait, so I'm seeing combo at WrestleMania?
Yeah, pretty much, yo. Pretty much. Yep.
On the outside now, one of the most dangerous places to be in the Elimination Chamber.
You little cuz, bro.
A warning and a challenge from the
I like to slack,
Reaper's
though.
opponent.
Can you do me a favor and Superfin Sinbad?
What is Sinbad doing?
Absolutely.
Thanks, ACG.
He said, please superfan him. Sinbad don't crash out and leave the match after this. Just wait till it's over, because you know you ain't gonna last. You got Jerry the King Lawler out there.
Hey, Sinbad. Hey, Dawn.
God.
That chicken so confused. You can't just run away and hit these
What is up with these screen bars I'm seeing in here? Well, Delta and Trav.
Delta and Trav were having a hell of a time trying to be fair, they were having a hell of a time with an AI.
Yeah.
AI, I think, was doing better than they were.
That nigga AI is doing better than Sinbad.
That nigga is fucking out of Sinbad. He beating the no,
The AI hit him.
Oh, he ain't fall. You can still roll him. You can still roll him up. There you go. For the one, good kick out. No, you would think the corner one would be a super, but no. Coming in to capitalize. Look at him. Look at him coming. What the fuck, Delta? What the fuck?
I ain't gonna lie, that's it.
You seen it?
Yeah.
That was a real quick smack.
boy, y'all gonna make that nigga crash out.
That's what I say. He gonna how the fuck? Then he gonna fucking come over. I'm telling you, he finna scream.
I feel like I missed more why Sinbad.
That's nasty, ACG.
They did that shit to Wood the last game. Like,
Yeah, I just let him do it. What? I ain't give a damn.
they did that. He stood in front of that dude for 4 seconds and hit a bubble bomb. That shit was insane.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. On stream, on GTA, on stream. Oh wow.
Yeah, he called me hard R. That's how we got kicked out of
Whatever.
GVW.
Get the fuck up, nigga. Get the fuck out of here.
So it was you who he did it to?
Move the fuck out. You act like I ain't fucking remember, bitch. Shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. Yeah, I ain't fucking remember. Yeah, my nigga, shut up, bitch.
All right, finish y'all match. Finish y'all match. Sinbad, stay in the match. Sinbad, stay in the match, bro. Stay here. Don't crash the match, bro. Stay here. Go ahead in the go ahead in there, Trev. What you doing? Is Trev? Are you stuck?
That shit was not fun, bro.
Hey, Dawn,
Jesus Christ.
Just walking through
it ain't easy being cheesy. It ain't easy being cheesy.
That's some competition. Remember you told me I was ass at this shit, but I can't tell, bro. If I'm ass, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck you did. What are you?
Hey, that nigga sound like Kid.
You know what that sounds like?
It's a fucking video game, Orion. Damn.
If there was a time for ACG to do it, it would be now.
Oh, he finna try to put him on the list.
Well, you see me asking to play all the time.
Quasi match is next, bro. Get kicked out, Trev.
Okay, look, am I right or am I wrong? Can you talk about I've been
Really trying to move
You can't do that, Trev. Break it. You break it. Can't do that, Trev.
I'm saying though, like, damn, it's still a guessing game, right?
Yeah. Hey,
or am I sure? We still got a person wide open.
That nigga just fucking fuck.
AX and Y nigga. AX and
Nah, he said,
is that correct?
that nigga was in the middle of the street yelling down the road.
Man, watch my
Hey, he yelling like a
bitch. I just said, let me watch my entry,
He tells
I can't just big ass.
It's okay for him to do it.
All right, shut the fuck up, all
All right, ACG, go ahead and retain your title, bro.
You guys fighting ACG?
No, they ain't fighting him. They fighting each other. Go ahead and get your title, ACG.
Came back and
Yeah.
This one thing I'm gonna tell you about ACG.
He ain't got nothing either. Oh, there you go. Now you do. There you go. Okay, so now he done. So look at Trev. Okay.
No way.
Yeah, go one at a time. One at a time. There you go. I am. And that's Rezil for him too. Good shit. Good shit. Pin him now. Yeah, pin him. Now pin him. For the 1, 2. Okay, good shit. You got one Rezil though. It was Delta reversal thing though, when it is Delta reversal when it.
These are the ones ACG lose, bro.
Yeah, that's what Luke just said, right? He said these are the ones that.
Yeah, I just said it again. Yeah, these are shit.
Oh, he trying to run.
Like a bitch with no ass. You ain't got shit.
Not if I get this right.
Damn.
Motherfucker, I'm ill.
You forgot his brothers and shit.
For the 1, 2. And you using a Rezil on that? Good shit though, Trav. Yeah, I like that little highlight reel you put in the match, bro. Good shit. That's our second one today.
Same me, right?
Damn, that nigga kicked the ref.
Damn, kick the ref. Holy shit.
He just wants out of this match, man. He did his job.
Oh no, trapping the arm.
Dead ass with 3
Vicious stomps to the hand.
Yeah,
You're just mad. Brady,
Brady, you're just mad you were the first one out.
Pretty much. And you would have, and I'm pretty sure if you was in here, you would have probably been next to me in this. He came back. He came back.
Hey, you shouldn't be here, bro. They were looking to throw you in this match, bro. You just weren't here.
Why they talk? Why this nigga talking so slow though?
He's sad. He's tough.
Wow. That's crazy. Damn. Oh my goodness, dribbling the
Is that it, or are you going for the super?
Straight fucking hit.
And McIntyre on the receiving end to get.
He's going for it. Is this in still for the one? Good kick out.
Hey, I think James will beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
He's going for Gunther, ain't
Do you think ACG loses
no, he still got Rezeal, everything. It'll be a miracle though.
If WWE tried to keep it like, because the way they've been having the belt is like some shit unguessable. Like you ain't gonna be able to guess it. Except for Cody shit. Cody shit you guess. Cody shit easy to get through.
He put that nigga head straight through the ladder.
It'll make more sense for him and Cody. The story's there.
This is the U.S. And then we got the heavyweight next, and then yo match the IC, and that's it. Who of your matches next, bro?
You know you remind me of, bro.
Yep.
Forgot this is fucking shit.
Hey, our match is next. Claus, where's the
Nigga who remind me of Brick Baby.
Greatest right here on the phone, bro.
I bet Tom if he's ready.
Who remind me of
Hey, so they said that you ready, bro. Didn't you tell them you want to be something else, bro?
Y'all niggas father.
Anybody heard from Quad? I mean, not Quad's Greatness.
Yeah, we said right now.
He said
He's gonna go right now.
Oh, he said he is.
And then shut your fuck ass up. You know who you remind me of? Corey from That's So Raven. Get your little bill looking at.
Wait.
Fuck.
Corey now.
You talking to me and him. Me and him.
Okay.
You talking to me and him. You talking to him.
And still, the U.S. champion, Gunther.
ACG's easy as the
Good shit. Bro, what you mean, man? He had to go through 5 other guys.
And AI.
That was my second game on since I downloaded this game back, so.
We'll try my sausage ball.
You act like any of them were challenging.
That's a piece I just hate, brother. Goat.
All right.
Sinbad might have been the best person.
Yeah, facts though.
Man, we'll need the first one out.
Don, I'm trying to.
Hey, Fudge said he got Bobby Lashley.
All right, where he
Oh,
at?
he said, wait.
Yeah, tell
The
that nigga
match
better
ready
get-
now.
better get
Yes,
less
the
than
match
DC.
now.
Or I will be taking his spot. Add
They
another
said the
title.
match right now,
Global
bro.
title.
Shit, let Henny take his spot. Hell no, Henny got fucked.
No, hell no, Henny. You don't
Henny
got
got
no
what?
title.
Henny got
Wait,
fucked.
by who?
Nah.
By who?
All right.
Yo, someone clip that.
Come on,
Someone
dog.
clip that. Henny
Yo,
got
come on.
What did he say? I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening. What did he say?
He said Henny got fucked.
They say he got fucked.
Hey, Don.
Hey,
Yeah, what's up,
let us
man?
know when you make the lobby, Don.
I got you. I'm making it right now.
Hey Don, tell them 2 niggas that they cannot be on the phone together because they gonna try to work together.
You know they gonna try to work together. Y'all get in here. Tell Greatness to get in here.
He said
Whoever
get in
broke
the
that match
Discord,
on
so
that
they said
bitch.
we can't be on the phone with each other.
Get in here.
Whoever broke that match, your mom's a
Oh.
hoe.
Yeah, somebody broke that match,
What
bro.
the fuck is my
How you
thing?
so sure someone broke it?
Because I was about to do my super fan.
Damn.
Nigga pulled the plug, bro.
I know you was. It was so close, wasn't it?
What happened to me is some BS, bro.
That nigga would have seen his homeboy finna get super finned and fucking.
When that shit valid though.
Damn. Is that really what happened?
Sinbad, how was you out before the damn bot?
You didn't watch it?
I was watching it, but
he was out before the bot.
It didn't say anybody left or anything.
He was out before the bot.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I was walking to the corner to rage up.
Nah, that's he was out before Trap.
Yeah, he was out before Trap.
He was out before Trap recently. Somebody looked at me like I was a threat, and they took me out with super thin as soon as they got a chance.
And the match is ready. Y'all can all join in. Yuli, you could join. Greatness, Quaz. Oh, you are here. Okay.
If you're in the match, join. If you're not in the match, don't join.
I'll join
before the match start.
You said what?
And who you could join. Oh, you already in. Never mind. That's it.
Hey,
Done. We after them.
Yep, right after this. Y'all the last one.
What's up, dude?
Oh, fuck, nigga.
Hey, I just want to make a statement. Hey,
Yeah.
can I make a statement?
What? No, we don't
What's
care.
your statement you want to make?
Didn't I beat you?
I want to fight. Fuck out your shit.
Don, ain't that the nigga you got my 10th win?
Don, you gave that nigga that win after he
What
stutter
you
stepped me?
mean? What do you mean?
And then
they need a win. What do you mean?
No, in the first, I thought he did in the first match. At the,
no, he did it in the second one.
They doing it in the second one.
No,
Oh,
I
shit.
didn't.
Yes.
No, I didn't, Don. He's crying like he always do.
Shit, I can't be crying, bitch. You don't got no belt, bitch ass nigga. Shut the fuck up talking to me.
Look, you had to wait.
Win that
till I
match
left
and
to
then
get
talk
a
to me,
belt.
bitch ass nigga. Win that match and then talk to me, bitch ass nigga.
I'll see. Give me 20 minutes.
For sure.
Put
All
the
right.
countdown
Where you
on.
at? Where you at then? The match
And what
ready.
belt do you even got?
He got the global.
There's like, nigga talk about a global. Win something that matter, nigga. I
Yeah,
ain't
you
even
win something
never
that
fought
matter,
for a
nigga.
global. I ain't never even fought for a global
You win
title.
something that matter, nigga.
That shit crazy. I ain't even never fought for that thing. I don't even know what it looked like. I ain't never
Jesus
seen
Christ,
that belt
man.
before.
Your boyfriend don't know what it look like either.
Jesus Christ.
See, Quaz, that's what I be saying, Quaz. I be on niggas' ass and they always bring it up. Quaz, this is exactly what I be saying, bro. We ain't doing this next year. It's cool. Easy mode gonna be different. Watch easy mode. Watch
All
that
right,
easy
this
mode.
one
Weezy,
is for
you see what it do?
You got this.
the heavyweight championship. Yeah, Eddie Queen. Yeah, he's in here.
Everybody jump ahead of
That's the plan. That's the plan. And then we're gonna jump to Shadow Who's and then the Shadow Gun.
Everybody jump.
Oh, I'm next.
Greatness. Hey, greatness.
That's Yuli.
We take out Bobby Lashley.
Chain wrestling, fight each other. Bruh, I go ahead and just get myself the belt.
Pods open and this elimination chamber turns into mayhem. James, Uncle Howdy, Cody Rhodes,
Yo, Fletch. Yo, Fletch, you get him hooked. You get him hooked.
faith in being locked in a cage with a tiger.
Let me see. Let me see.
Placed into the corner.
Hey, I always remember I'm a blood.
Yeah, we get you. We get you.
Yuli.
That may be on B.
Oh yeah, he always starts his fights with B.
Clubbing blow stifles the attack.
Hey, so how we doing the league? How we doing the league? So niggas can pick girls. Right?
You want a girl?
Who's next? Who's next?
Me, why? Me,
So the
why?
girls is available, right?
You want one? You want Rhea Ripley?
Nah,
It
might be. I might get it.
Diamond Dallas Page is in it
What
now.
pick is for us?
Hey, Fletch, we finna make a girls team.
Throw down out here. I'm finna whoop this. Watch out, you. I got down. I've been gonna whoop down ass all year. He over here coming with that quick jab. Hold on, you.
That'll mess up the back of your neck.
Yeah, let me do what I gotta do.
Let's see.
Yeah, look at you.
If he whoop me down. Hold on, I don't know this nigga moveset. Straight fucking knee.
Stomps. You can feel the resentment building with each stomp there.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've been waiting to whoop your ass all year. This is what it took.
Bruh, going, bro.
Straight fucking knee.
Belly suplex.
Bruh, going. Yuli, come fight, bro. You gonna come at me? You gonna come? Now you gonna come at me? Fucking sucker ass nigga.
You running from me.
Yo, cause this man got spears and shit. I know you got a spear too. Y'all three got spears and shit. No, that's who. He ain't scared of you. Get in. Now you really want to go in. Why you ain't want to be left out here alone? Why you ain't trying to be left out here alone? You trying to build alliances and shit? He didn't mean to, man.
Yeah, that's all you really want. And Cho tried at the ass. I know why he did it. I know why he did it. I know why he did it.
Yeah. One what?
Let me see.
One what?
Fucking me. Better be ready on that wire. Oh my God. Big time backbreaker. The game tripping, bro.
Come on here, Edical. Make this shit even because I think they trying to build some kind of alliance and shit, and we ain't got time for them. Nah, you see what they were doing. Yeah, I know he is. He is. He is. Yeah, there you go. Edical, all this time, Bobby Lashley be calling you equalizer and shit. I'd be his ass too. Yep.
Let me get up, Edical. Let me get up. Let me get up. I'll whip your ass. I got some prey right
Oh
here.
man, I knew to hit that and I still didn't do it.
Hold on, let me get Edical out of his ring. Edical, step outside. I got something.
Suck at this nigga.
Edical, come on.
He finds a counter for Jay.
Shut up, nigga.
Sloppy ass.
Shut up, nigga. Shut up.
Yo, Henry. You put a plat there?
Ain't nobody jumping you. Ain't nobody jumping you. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to spear a nigga. What you mean build up on me? He know he can't do that. We just fought not too long ago the other day. Boom, look. My person is forever gonna be faster than this.
You're having more than one night of WrestleMania?
I don't know. It is true. My shit like that, that been.
When this shit come back to me, I'm beating your
Impact in the corner.
Hey, you
Should
got
I
it,
say
bro.
it? Because I don't want to hear no damn or none of this stuff.
I'm gonna say it. How you saying?
Hey, Edical, acknowledge it, nigga.
32.
Come on. I ain't the same nigga you fought last time, nigga. Remember that shit? You said 2 ACG.
32.
Hey,
See, look, see.
Remember that shit. Remember that shit. Remember that shit, nigga.
Edical getting fucked up by you too. That nigga got a full
I'm gonna make it come back to you.
Yeah, Yuli, come on, bro.
Shut your head ass up.
He's gonna get fucked up, bro.
I'm gonna be the one to bring greatness back.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, you're not.
I should've.
You should
You're
have.
an idiot. Why you didn't get that finisher before you fucking popped that?
I wasn't paying attention, bro. I was just paying
Yeah,
attention.
we'll talk about that later.
Hey, let me get that. Closet, watch out.
And he keeps his focus on attack to that area. Heads to the core, keep coming.
Let him get what?
Get your bitch ass on to me. If I really do something, you know you ass. You know you
Look at him. That little.
weak ass on.
Sound the alarm.
This better fix match, man.
Don't let it come back.
Could be.
I press B. This thing is not registering my fucking B's.
That could be like what's up.
That was an accident, Edible.
How to play right now.
As soon as you're done, let me get my spin on it.
Where are you?
Fucking silver too.
Yeah, get out. I can't
Bruh, you reversed it, bruh. I seen the whole thing. You good, man. Sucker ass bitch. Come on, man. Let me cook. Come on, man. Let me cook. Yeah, hit him. Hit him. Hit him. Hit him. Oh shit, wrong man medical him. I didn't mean to, damn.
Oh! Now he has the whole ass green bar.
Come help me then.
The fix is in. Yeah, this is a fix, alright.
I'm qualified, Don. I'm qualified, Don.
What's up, Mallet?
Hey, Cody moveset,
Bro, one more, bro. That could be the only grand slam.
Are you gonna fight him, you sucker ass nigga?
You ain't saying nothing. You ain't saying nothing. The last match, don't tell me nothing.
He's making the come back to me. You gonna come back to me? Nigga, no wonder.
I ain't gonna lie. Come on, get your weak ass down.
Bro, I'm trying to worry about my own damn stun bar and you telling me about a stall?
That ain't gonna help you win, bro. I promise you it ain't.
I know etiquette.
Some attitude behind it.
Bet that up.
Shit, man.
That's all funny as shit. It's easy, baby. Middle of summer, I'm freezing, baby. You bleed me, baby.
When that shit came out, that shit bugged. I get the bag.
This is the Glazer right here. Like, come on, man. Let me fight.
I love Gucci.
You let P. Farrell and Henny do the whole last match.
Bro, that match didn't even count. This is a pay-per-view. Do right.
They did it with Leon, nigga. But I got you, Don. I won't interrupt you.
They can't make your head right.
Some way he is still in this.
Hey, tough titty. Tough titty, Don.
You need to think greatness is on top of it.
It's tired.
He's getting up, but there's danger in front of him.
Oh.
I'm qualified. Who's help now? I probably not where to shoot it from.
To me, he's making the climb.
Chill.
Fuck, man.
Roman Reigns with scoreboard pinning combination. No. And Jay has been taking hits.
What is Quaz doing, bro?
I think Jay's realizing the toll this match has taken on him.
I'm saying he has a full green bar, bro.
He's not jumping on
Not in the match. Why you mad?
That nigga been running.
Like that.
And he chooses to
Who that? I ain't gonna lie. Whoever just said that, don't sound like they supposed to be saying nigga.
Significant.
I hate nigga.
That's how I told you, dude.
I heard Leon, bro.
Nah, TV don't he may not sound like him.
Watch out.
just turn that around.
You don't sound like a nigga for
That means do what I gotta do real quick. Come on, man. Let me do what I gotta do. Good job, greatness. I barely got to get that off. I was gonna try to build, but I had a feeling your day one dick sucker over there was gonna come over here and do something. Every time I do something, here you come. Pin him, yeah. Please pin him. And then look, it just look. That's what I'm talking about. You see what I'm talking about?
Hamilton, bro. I'm about to pick Hamilton right now.
Throw him in the corner.
Listen, I'm watching YouTube right now, bro. I'm watching the play.
Never mind.
Attention being put on the torso here. Yeah, it's obviously been targeted
throughout this match.
Look at Quas. Look, he finna come. Come on, phone, stop calling me. What the fuck they want? And look at here come Quas. Look at here come Quas. Look, day one dick sucker. Look, here come Yuli. Look, day one dick sucker. Look. Look. Like, why can't I just finish my shit? It's two open guys right there.
It sounds like
I'm fucking everybody up, bro. I'm fucking everybody up.
Bruh, just let me do it. I'm doing the moment I just want to shine. That's my second time just want to shine. I can't. Look, probably finna get speared now. Look. Okay, now what you gonna do? Cause I'm probably out. I'm finna. Okay, yeah, double. Yeah, sorry, sucker. Come on, get out my way. Look at him trying to come spear me and shit. Man, oh hell no.
Why do my teammates just have an addiction of going AFK, bro? Like, stop
Hey man, you threatened to shut our match down, man.
That's what I'm saying. What's going on? That's what I'm saying.
It's a 3v everybody else. We not teaming. Me, Hoove and us, we not teaming. We not teaming.
Like, yeah, we jumped the nigga, but we didn't do it like that.
You jumping shit out of the way. You took him out. I don't give a fuck what you say. Like,
man, we didn't do that shit like that, man. You niggas breaking up moves and shit. Hey, man, if you egg Bischoff, nigga, break that shit up, man.
He cheating, bro. 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 Nah, every time I get a stun bar, here comes day one dick sucker. You.
Bro, the match is it ain't even the match.
Your ass nigga like this, nigga like that. And then here come Yuli. Yep, here come Yuli. Tingling right now. Come help greatness.
They did it to Leon, bro. Like, stop, bro.
Yuli, you doing all this talking and preaching. You gonna be the next nigga to go. Like that was weird.
See, like that. Let me do it. Go over there. Quad's got to stop. Like, why you let him go?
I see if you was about to win, dumb nigga. You not about to win. You dick eating to lose. That's stupid. I'm quiet now though. You doing all that talk.
I ain't gonna even jump you, Erica. I ain't gonna even jump you.
Okay, go fight him then.
You fight it, I'll see that You know what? You and Claude can take each other out. I'm gonna take. You want to play smart, nigga? Hey, Claude, you want to play smart, nigga? You think he's playing smart?
And now Lashley.
It ain't no accident, nigga. I got you.
That was total accident.
Nah, I don't believe that.
That nigga was finna sneak his ass.
That was accident, bro. I don't even got nothing.
Fucking accident.
I'm not going outside. Hey, y'all gotta take it outside. I ain't going outside. I'm not fighting. I'm just not fighting niggas outside.
Just stay out there.
Tell need y'all to take him out. Fucking head is. Did it work? Oh, you can reverse this shit still. You can reverse this shit. Ah.
Hey, hold up. Outside. I got a pin. Go pick that nigga up. Yeah, go pin him. Go get it. Oh, you got me fucked up. What me, nigga?
No, that's
Can't go. Yeah, that's a fin. It's a fin. Yeah, it's a fin. Yeah, it's a fin. No, the chamber breaking thing. It's a fin. This shit. Hell no.
All right, y'all come do what y'all do now. Nah, I got.
How gay do you have to be, bro? I got that ass.
My fucking WrestleMania moment is over.
I want to fight in the ring.
I know, but yeah, if anything, yeah, I will pull a string for me.
Yeah,
But it just like that though, like
get
the,
his shit
to glaze to just glaze like Quaz though. It's pretty much you blocking motion off Yuli. Like you done had the title before. It's not nothing that you trying to reach.
You guys don't fight, bro.
He backstage.
Like I can see if you never had the title, but you done had the title. You only thing you doing is playing them, making sure they ain't get no higher pick than you.
Damn, the master kick couldn't grind. I just had full health. Like, what happened to it, dude? How the fuck did the master couldn't grind? What are they doing?
He been whooping my ass all day, bro. He been playing this shit. Let me get a sig off. Let me get a sig.
Greatness, you lucky man. You wouldn't have reason.
You ain't gonna get none enough, man, nigga.
What just happened? I don't know, but I think it just blew the roof off this arena. I don't believe it. Reigns has ended so many matches that way, but this one
Good shit, Edicle.
that should do it right
That one is you trying to get that Rezo. That's that Rezo right there. Off that big ass bar. Look at it. Look how much health he got. Oh yeah, that's a whiff. That's like how mine was. Yeah, that bar ain't little. That bar ain't little. No, it ain't, bro. Bro, we can see that black health right there. Yo, that bar is not little. It's probably just like how mine was when I popped my damn Rezo.
I gotta hold on. Watch out.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, goes AFK. I gotta
Let him cook. That should have doubled.
Yo, whoa. That's what I'm saying. What the fuck? Hear that? Anybody hear that?
Yo, it's like a porno, bro.
Come on, bro.
Finally, Kyle Kuzma's off my team.
Kyle Kuzma got traded.
To where?
So there's a trade in the works. Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. You want that bad guy? I'd rather have him than Kuzma.
Oh, he gonna pull you back in.
You know who still got Rico, bro? You need to get his Rico often, bro.
Hold on. He think he's slick. He the only one with Rezo. He the only one with Rezo. He the only one with Rezo.
And you. Yeah, you do too. Yeah, don't let him fool y'all. Don't let him fool y'all. Good shit. Trying to throw that lanky ass spear.
Hold up, let me hit my shirt. Hold on, let's tell
He said, didn't I pin you? Bruh, I don't shit. Yeah, that look at Roman Reigns over there. He's the real reason.
You want the game next year or what? If I was you, I'd throw this match.
That's crazy.
Don't worry, Adam. Don't worry, Adam. If I was you, I'd throw this match.
Hey, Quando, get off, nigga. Come on, man.
Yeah, end him. Look how you hear how he calling for Quaz. Yeah, he calling for Quaz. Look, you hear how he calling for Yuli. Look, you hear this shit? Look at this. Look, just the glazery. Look at this, man. Bruh. Bruh, what are you doing?
Nigga, I'm in this for myself, nigga. What am I doing?
That's not in it for yourself. He don't have Rezo. Why wouldn't you want him out?
That was wild. Wait, I'll tell you this.
Yo, that is dick eating.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. Yuli, play the match right, bro. You ain't playing right, bro. Like, why would you just let him just finish this thing, bro?
Hold on. You think I'm playing this to let Closet work?
Yeah. Cause why would you do that? Why would anybody do that? Yeah. But why is no teams? Like what? But why nobody else doing this? But y'all like why?
We gotta get Edical Rezo. He the only one that don't got Rezo. We gotta get him, and he got a super team.
This is weird.
Hit him with their shit. Hit him with their shit. That nigga.
This is weird. This is weird.
If any three of them injured, just don't give them anything.
Why break his move up? No, the like.
Why wouldn't you press B? What the fuck? Oh my god.
Do not mess with him. Let him go out. Let him go out. Do not mess with him or I'm canceling the match. Let him go out.
You lost all faith.
And then greatness, you still trying to call for them. I hear you too. Yeah, saying pin at the same time and stuff. Yeah, I hear you.
What do y'all gain from it?
This far into the match. Where is this?
Who you trying to hit? Who are you trying to hit?
I was right here, bro. Let me go, Quaz. Let me go.
Come on. Don't run for this attitude.
Boom! It's okay. They weren't that pretty anyway.
Not joining me when I told you to join.
He's got Mary's in harm's way here.
You should have joined. Now I got
a position to be caught in here.
Son, you asking who that nigga trying to hit? That nigga trying to hit.
They trying to get that nigga redo.
Oh, look at this.
You already know.
He ain't got it. Yeah, they already took it.
The chamber is just dangerous enough without throwing yourself right off of it.
I'm just saying, a person that contacted me personally saying line me up with Quaz because I'm getting rid of him. All this other stuff. No, it's the heavy. He did the heavy. He did the heavy. He did a heavy. He did a heavy. He did a heavy.
Just give up, Edible. Come on, bro. I need this match, bro.
Don't do it. We gotta be smart about
Take
this.
Edible out of this first, nigga. Y'all niggas gotta be smart. I ain't hold that shit yet.
It was already second pick, right?
Yeah, automatically, yo.
Hey, Grayness, get this nigga out here, bro. What's on my break, nigga? I thought I was your pride and joy, nigga. I thought I was your pride and joy.
Look at this nigga begging for help.
Yeah.
And they can't beat Edible for real.
Adios.
Bro.
What? Edico, go get him. Yeah, go get him. Finish him off. Yeah, no. Greatness, you stay in the ring. Just let them finish their fight. You let them finish. I don't even need you to make it a triple threat. Just wait. No, don't even make it no triple threat. Just wait. Just wait. No, don't do nothing. Let them capitalize. Let them capitalize. Let him capitalize. Let him capitalize. And then he's telling you what you can't do. He's telling you that you can't do it. Look, he's telling you that. Greatness, go in the ring. Greatness, go in the ring. Go in the ring. Go in the ring. Go in the ring. Greatness, pin him. Pin him. Pin him. Oh, good. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bruh. Oh, he ain't got stam. He ain't got stam. Nah, Greatness, you go somewhere. Let them finish that.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Jesus Christ, you fucking.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm absolutely stunned. A display of near superhuman resilience.
Jesus Christ.
Lashley threw all of his strength into that last
You
maneuver.
fucked up technique. Now I'm gonna fuck you. I'm gonna mess you up
What's
now.
going on?
And then he gonna take advantage of it. There you go. He took advantage of it.
Edible good shit.
There you go. There you go. Now he won it, nigga. I'm not breaking it up. Nope. Nope. I can't do that. I can't break it up. I can't break it up. Now these two are fighting for it would have
Tutors.
if I did that. I couldn't do that.
Come on, Edical.
It's your time to make history.
Yuli.
Come on, Edical.
Nah, it's over, man.
Yuli.
He said it's over, man.
But if I would have broken up, the match would have probably got thrown out.
Oh, you already know it. You already know. You already know.
100%. That was thrown out.
Y'all would have hit quit. I would have quit that damn match.
Got up out of here.
Young. It would have been a lot went down. If the moment I would have seen him break that, the match would have been over with. Come on, Edico. You know where is it? Oh, there you go. There you go. You know this game more than him. You know that. Oh, shit. Oh!
Look at Don. Look at Don's face, bro.
Hold up, nigga.
Yo. CT Don's face.
Let's go.
He was sick.
Yuli. 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 Hold on. Wait a minute. Before you get your hype up and all this other stuff up, I got to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this now. I know that you want this WrestleMania moment. Like, you really do. I know you really do. You really do. You really do. No. I'm not. No, look. No, I ain't finished. Look. Look. Because, look, I'm finna just go ahead and just benefit myself at the end of this. I'm fucking weak, man. Look. Yuli. You say you could beat me, right? Do you think you could really beat me? Do you think you could really beat me? You could beat me, right? 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 It's not even a team, so your word is irrelevant. That's what I'm saying. It's no teams. So, Ulysses, it's all up to you. It's all up to you, man. Hey, it can be down to the final one at the fucking Wrestle fucking Mania. Me and you for the title. Me and you.
What if Stadio picked him? Then
That's what I'm saying. That's if I want to see what Sturdio say. If Sturdio say that, then that's what Sturdio want. But if he don't, then I'm just saying I'm open for it.
But you know what I want though, right?
No.
I want that number 3. I want that number 3 spot. So Sturdio.
Number 3 spot
Wait,
for
you
what?
don't even got the title. Who got the heavyweight title? I'm tripping, bro.
You got it.
This nigga got the Universal.
This nigga trying to go undisputed.
Universal.
He trying to go undisputed.
Combo got it.
He trying to go undisputed.
Let me set up this IC title match.
I ain't gonna lie. He's trying to be undisputed.
No, y'all got things confused. This is not teams anymore.
Bro, they thinking we teaming together.
Y'all did. He still talk about ZT. ZT don't exist. It don't exist.
We literally.
Kiss my ass.
Don, listen, let me tell you what it was. It was out of me and Quaz. It was supposed to be me and Quaz.
Yeah, at the end. It was supposed to be you. Wait, no.
I'd rather Quaz win. I'd rather Quaz win.
Yeah, he talked to me. Yeah, you did.
I mean, you could tell that was the plan originally because we were letting them get a
No, there was no original plan. There ain't no original plan.
I can already hear it now.
Hey, look, the thing is,
And these niggas admit that shit.
Gonna be like, yo,
Join the match for the IC.
And you just admitted that
How
y'all
does it
jumped
feel
him.
for me to be
Bitch,
right
ain't
here
shit
and you
happened. Just y'all bitch
down
ass
there,
up.
buddy? Let's go. And I appreciate all the calling outs, but y'all gotta earn this title
Greatness
shot.
at WrestleMania. How about that?
I already beat your homie ass.
Wait,
What is
what
that
we
gonna
doing?
prove?
Man, my homie, Quad, you gotta stop letting these niggas beat you.
And I was
Damn.
beating on your ass until y'all started
Okay,
jumping
but
niggas.
did you
So was
win?
Don. Don was
Yeah.
beating your
Did you
ass.
win?
Yeah.
Y'all niggas weird.
Did
bro.
you win?
The fuck? Did you
Bruh,
win?
to be fair, every time one of y'all had a stun bar, here go one of y'all coming up from behind. Coming up from behind.
Nah, we ain't. I had some hoe ass niggas in my match. That was
Yeah.
Nah, me personally.
No, y'all thinking that y'all still teammates and stuff. It's no
Nah,
teams.
you wanna know what my motive? You wanna know my motive, bro?
No.
You wanna know my motive, bro? I was mad that my son that he got jumped.
No.
And he came. Hey,
No, I give him credit for the last 3 minutes.
But I had the spirit edible.
I give you credit.
Y'all ready for this RC one? Y'all ready for the RC?
Yeah, that was
This the one to wrap it up with.
That fucking chamber.
Henny in here.
Without that last shell, you probably wouldn't have took it home. Hey, you ain't wrong. Hey, I was trying to catch it.
We'll join in and make this one
You
it
know why
then.
I'm not mad? You know
Nah,
why
we
I'm
just
not
got
mad?
punished, though, for doing the same shit.
Wait, are y'all bringing?
Join in.
Wait, Don, are you
Least
bringing
Yuli
that?
didn't do the
Are you
dick
bringing
shit
out
to
the
lose.
student back?
He actually.
No, dude, look. Let me tell y'all this.
mad.
Look, they,
I ain't mad.
look.
Stop yelling.
Look. On my
Take your
perspective,
microphone out of your fucking mouth.
I wasn't gonna team up or nothing, bro. But then I saw the way that they did Woulda, so I was like, you know what? Let's jump the shit. Up.
Nobody did nothing to Woulda. Woulda did what he did in his own damn match.
Nobody jumped.
And
watch the match because he was
who else we need?
He was going for the
Unnecessary damage on them at the beginning of the match. I know
Oh,
how
we just need you.
niggas be putting unnecessary.
I really put out Quad.
We literally got the double people who was double teaming out.
And I got Greatness packed up too.
And we were
Come on, man.
How did we jump?
I had to go pin you, man.
Every time. This man hitting him with a damn crossroads, and here come Yuli hitting him, breaking it, hitting him with a damn Superman punch. Like, what was that?
You can't break a crossroads.
Yeah, you can't. He did. He was the first one in history to ever do it.
That mean he ain't tried to. That mean he swung before the crossroads was even there.
Bruh, he knew what he was doing.
Nah, he was probably trying to swing for sure, but probably not trying to stop that specifically.
They was breaking up so many damn moves.
Yeah, every time one of y'all was in danger, here come one of the Glazers.
Hey, look though, tell me this though. When Woulda was in that corner, and I seen Woulda in that corner getting his last.
Why y'all keep talking about Woulda? What is y'all allegiance? What is y'all allegiance to Woulda? Like, why am I keep hearing his name?
Because I'm saying y'all can't talk about what we did, and y'all ain't saying shit about that.
Bro, do you know why he was in that match? Do you know why he was even in that match?
No. I'm not gonna lie though.
Do y'all know the backstory to that? No, do y'all don't know? That's what I'm saying. Y'all doing nigga shit. Don't even know the backstory. Because he did what y'all just did. Literally. Playing around, teaming up, alliances, throwing matches and shit. Bruh, yes, I just seen it. He just admitted it. I just seen it. Bruh, you sitting there, bruh, I heard you blatantly. It's like you was calling for daddy. You were saying, Yuli, Quaz. Like, I heard you. I heard you. No, he ain't calling for Edico to help him. Nah, he got, nah. That's your own business. Yep, it was doing enough before your Glazer came up. No, you wasn't. It was doing enough before your Glazer came up.
Every time Don got momentum,
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I seen about 5 stun bars, and every time Yuli ran up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uzi's head was so
Man,
far
eat
grass,
that
I couldn't tell
dry
where
ass.
you
Eat
like
that dry ass.
you began and you end.
Dry ass sandwich.
Fuck, man.
You ain't got no pay on that motherfucker, no nothing.
When you give to someone going into an extreme rules match.
Some dry ass regular Captain Crunch ain't even no crunch berry.
Or just swing a chair, find a way to make the
That's
stipulation work
soggy
for
ass.
you.
But Dom,
You gotta eat that in 3 seconds.
I dominated you, and I pinned you. What you
Leave
think?
you alone.
Crazy statement going on.
Garbage.
Bro, I was fighting all I could. What'd you think? I was fighting greatness and everything.
Nah, Don was trying.
Shut that shit the fuck down, nigga. Stand on this shit.
Oh my god, bro.
I gave up. I had refill. I know you did. I know you really good hell. I just gave up. Yeah, they. Yeah, I got it.
Gets the better there.
You're like,
Just
man,
for the team here to get back on his feet.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh my
This
god,
isn't the
bro. Leave me alone.
Antagonizing your opponent.
What's up, champ? Hey, what's up, champ?
Belly to belly.
You don't even sound
leave
right.
me
saying
alone.
that.
Yeah, you don't sound right saying that.
You sound. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, you love you. Sounded real
Taking the
Mexican. He
fight
said, "What's up, town?"
table. I really hope you get these desks at a discount.
Fucking
Your ass
weak.
sound like season 2.
Dog.
Great things.
He's getting pushed out into the defensive.
Dog.
Nah, good shit. Hey, you see that shit?
Whole lot of people I noticed,
He didn't do the big shit to lose. He won doing it, so I ain't mad at him.
He didn't do nothing, cause boy, if
I ain't doing nothing. See, look.
Y'all try to use
No.
Shoot, let me tell you, you overcame the dumb shit. Cause I was gonna talk crazy to you. These niggas message me. Hey, if you would have lost, I was gonna talk. I don't give a fuck how I would have.
Nah, see, so what happened was, bro, once I lost my reason,
No, they
I
tried to
said,
use you to take
no, they ain't trying to use me, nigga. Greatness probably used me, nigga. Greatness probably did. Greatness probably did. But Quazo, hey, Quazo, did you use me, nigga? Quazo ain't use me, nigga.
What you mean? The nigga greatness, said to your face, it was gonna be him and Quaz.
Nigga, it was gonna be me and Quaz. Nigga, I don't know what greatness
It was
talking about.
going to. If that nigga eliminated me. That nigga.
Nah, look, see, they underestimated me, which was a good thing. See, cause he went after Adam, he should have gone after me.
I didn't want to go after you, bro.
Nigga, you got lucky, nigga. Shut up talking about he should have gone.
The tribal chief.
I seen the opportunity.
Hey, Greatness.
What are you looking for,
Greatness,
Weezy?
you thought that shit was gonna be.
Hey, Don, you know your storylines never wrap up like that, bro. But this is a long-term story time right here, Don.
That nigga kicked out that
Look at
motherfucker.
my
Nigga.
Yeah, I know.
Long-term story time.
Hey, I was done after that. I ain't had
Finally got the big one.
Did you hear how you said it though? You should have heard how you said it. Nigga said, "Oh, he kicked out."
Yo, what is?
I don't know why they not. Y'all got something?
Y'all fighting each other. Every time somebody has offense, they ain't fighting. Why would he turn around like that, not knowing he's gonna get screwed?
Yeah.
That one I think was targeting. That one I think.
Look, y'all complain so much, but like, I would be complaining about Burger King. I ain't making the single King the whole match.
These niggas, what am I looking at?
That's
not a combo.
Hey, hold on. A 3-team fight involving the Warriors, Heat, and Suns. What the fuck, bro? Niggas have niggas skills.
Can discuss. Alright, then.
Yo! Nigga, who? Where?
Hey, Luka.
That what his ass is.
Wiggins to the Heat, Jimmy Butler to the Suns, and you know who.
Oh, they're going to the Suns already. Confirmed?
No, it's not confirmed. They discussed.
Ain't you getting him? Finish him.
You know, change their last 2 days, bro. They got deal.
Bro.
I don't know.
If Andrew Wiggins,
Hey, I could take that.
Supposedly trading Nurkic for anything like him. Mid Wiggins and mid.
He was alright in the
And he goes into the ring.
Weezy
He
about
was doing really good. Like,
If Nurkic can lose us basketball
Man,
games,
it's
I'm
too-
fine with that. Come on.
he was looking promising at the beginning.
Oh, what a wind-up.
I hope Nurkic shot my basketball team. At least I can
Damn,
watch
bro.
this nigga.
Hey, Don, it's been a while since I've been at the top.
I'm aware. I am so we drafted Alex Starr and had to watch him in 6
The
3
Wizards,
game.
the Wizards really
Don.
lost. in
You know
that
what my
trade.
WrestleMania match
Like I
want
fuck
to
with
be?
Chris Middleton, but my nigga
What?
is old.
How he was ass? What do you mean we
Oh
lost?
shit! I know what he about to
Sound
do.
you
I know what
sound
he about to
crazy as
do.
hell, man.
Oh,
Watch what he about to do when he get up over there.
what you want your WrestleMania match to be? What you talking about?
They
Watch
keep
what he about to
saying
do.
C-Dot. I
He's
don't
gonna be a
care.
heavyweight champion.
You said
How
what?
C-Dot is or already
Well,
was.
hey, mark my words. Here in a couple weeks, you gonna be like, he wasn't doing that on
Raise the haymaker.
I will be doing that. Rest assured. Don't you worry.
Ask me what?
I got an idea, dog.
Because he fit in that system.
You know how you shut down the tag team championship?
Just for the rest of this, just for the rest of this month. Wow.
You know what? I ain't gonna say y'all.
I know.
Because y'all definitely
At
want to
WrestleMania, everybody that's fighting, you should make random tag
Dude,
teams.
we
Chris Middleton, man.
With random teams.
That's definitely 25 points.
Man, this shit is crazy.
Like,
He probably gonna average 30 over there, more shots. So that's
I mean, look, who else gonna shoot the ball?
yeah. I'll take that back. Y'all ain't I had to remember who Chris Middleton was. He just quiet down a little bit.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Oh wow. Yeah, what's up? I heard you talking about random shit.
Look at this nigga Henny. Hey, Henny.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
He a rat. You see, you hear rat in him.
All you roach ass niggas to
He's a
learn how to
rat.
professionally roach. You see how Henny doing it? This nigga go pick
But
up a
they ain't
table,
roaching,
set
bro.
up a table.
I'm getting
He go-
punched on, bro.
See how Henny playing this shit.
Bro, they both hit me with them on these back to back. I reverse my
That's because your ass always monkey in the middle. You got the stupid ass outfit.
They chase me down,
Did you say his outfit?
Yeah, it's
You always
outfit.
you always have an offense, nigga. The nigga who got the offense.
Bro.
This nigga got on some medieval chain.
I rolled out the wing. Nigga rolled out with me.
You can't pin out there. Hold on, what's that on? It's supposed to be in the ring only.
You got pin on that?
Yeah, I don't know why it's on out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, look at him trying to come take it out on me. Yeah, you better back up,
Yeah,
nigga.
I wasn't going to bar big as hell. I wasn't going to
Yeah, pin only in the inside.
From the Apex Predator.
I don't know what it's like that.
He's looking for something. This could get dangerous.
I wonder if he's going to be on the next day.
And Cena finds himself on the receiving.
Jesus Christ.
Well, drunk, you be drunk.
No,
at this
it's
point.
whatever.
Like, at first, I thought they was just picking on drugs.
Mhm.
Shut your dumb ass.
Man, Jordan Cruz has to be an all-star. Win games.
I miss y'all boys, man.
No, you don't.
He's reeling, slowly getting up.
Who's talking about you, man?
Quick return to the ring.
Hey, it's like the good old days, huh?
Julio happy ass. Because he was a good old days, y'all.
Hey, just like when I first came in, it's like the good old days, man.
That nigga finna be a take before Don.
That's crazy. Fuck that. How about he got that motherfucker? He ain't never beat me. That's crazy.
I don't gotta beat you no more. See what I can do?
He ain't never beat me.
I done fought you at WrestleMania. That's it.
Hey, so this bump Yuli into what? A top 10?
No, not 10, not 10.
Not top
Yes,
10.
top 10. Because he got what's his name? Brady's like Brady's number 10.
You know how many university we done had?
Like 5. Oh, actually, you're right.
You lucky, yeah, I
maybe
would.
like
Yeah.
4 through 12, but it's gonna be randomized, no?
Wait, how many university champions you got?
Bro.
Like,
That's what. Uzi, that's when you're supposed to be right there to come with the RKO.
Am I still top 10? Am I still top 10? I'm not top 10.
You be top 30.
Greatness. I ain't gonna lie. Greatness.
Reza, there go to Reza. He got you.
Who the fuck said I was top 30?
I don't know.
He's so coming.
TB said that shit. I'm a snitch. He ain't on my team no more.
I said.
That was TB?
No, that was TB.
TB, shut your dumb ass.
So wait. So you're saying you don't want to be top 30?
Nigga, I'm not gonna be top 30.
You could be last if you want to.
Being top 30 means you can also be top 20, top 10. It's a range. It's a standard deviation, bro. If you're top 5, you're also top 30. They go hand in hand.
You want to be a smart ass, so
Yeah.
What do you mean smart ass? That's what it is.
Hey, why these niggas? Hey, why these niggas sound like they in high school?
Don't pay attention.
You sound like they in high school. That nigga TB the smart one.
He beat Edicle and he went off running like he did something. I beat Edicle. Let's get back down.
Yuli beat Edicle one-on-one, please.
Fuck no, I ain't gotta beat him one-on-one, nigga. I ain't gotta beat this dude. I just beat him. One-on-one. You ain't steals in the ring one-on-one? Bum ass.
Done. Look it on Thursday, bro.
I saw a lot.
I'm tired of looking at the table.
You happy. I'm the reason you where you at.
What? You're more delusional than Weezy.
No, he looked right.
TB. Y'all get rid of that thing.
Oh, trade me. Don't trade me.
I'm not trading you. Why'd you just do a double fan?
Can you make my name look all cool and shit?
No, I am. I'm just not having the title match.
I could go to WrestleMania.
You're not going anymore. Yes, I am.
Did you?
Oh, he ain't talking
From your father.
Is that something that you could do?
Handy up.
Shit. You should have did a double fan though.
Hey, Don, let me tell you something.
I'm just
long overdue. I just
Weezy, I'm tired of looking at the table.
This is long overdue, though, Don.
What?
Me having this title is long overdue. It should have happened last time on the Irish Americans.
Man, you went in close.
No, I wasn't here. I wasn't here yet, but Don said he was going to play the match.
Oh, what?
Any artist has already been. You were asked that.
Yeah, no, this year, yes. This year, yeah. They didn't want to fucking weird and shit. So when I'm weird, it's an issue, huh?
That cost the.
Yeah.
Oh shit. This is the last one, yo. No. Sucker ass nigga. Shit, you. Well, maybe you are.
His head bounced back and shit.
That's what you did wrong. Oh shit. I ain't mad you having fun. I'm just trying to get y'all to realize y'all bitch ass niggas not in a relationship no more. Break that shit apart. Hell no, fuck y'all.
It ain't you.
It's gonna be all DT.
Nah, a fighter of the night is the Hulk Hogan,
Bro,
Heavyweight champion. What are you talking about?
man, this shit is crazy, bro.
What is?
High risk, high reward.
You think I can do it, nigga? I told you ain't on my level.
Really feeding off this crowd.
What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
He been chatting all fucking night, bro.
I'm just trying to
catch up to you, bro. I'm gonna catch up to you, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro.
I don't care no more, bro. You're above me, bro. You're better than me.
Nah, I'm just kidding, bro. You're the best in here, bro. I want to be like you.
Sure, bro.
I'm being dead ass. That's your accolades, bro.
No, not this one.
You're one hell of a competitor.
This one for the IC.
So who won the Universal?
Combo did.
Well, shout out. I ain't gonna lie, Combo really showed his ass.
He did.
Yeah, but it's too bad. But you can't. But you scared to fight him. Nah, you ain't beat him. You ain't beat him now. Yeah. Nah.
Combo, you changed your name or something?
Yeah,
Nah, go to hell.
He Combo Ellis, now he's just Combo.
Oh wow.
Which one Combo? Randy Orton?
This shit. No,
One,
with the referee.
2. Good shit. Good shit. Hold on. You the only one that don't got no damn reason. Yeah, he the only one. Yeah. I just thought about that. Yeah, he the only one.
How you feel about that, Donnie Don? He's always next year.
Like they're looking for neck.
Man, I'm pretty ready to say it, man.
John, you ain't won a big major title all year.
Hey, you know it's crazy. You know it's crazy. Green, his last 2 pay-per-views, the matches Don was in, I won. I know he don't want to make it 3 in a row. Maybe he was on.
This talking.
Maybe he was on the something, because it'd be 3 in a row for him.
To the outside.
Where you going, Weezy?
Look at Weezy, he running. He's going back.
Weezy, get back up here. My eyes ain't good, bro.
My eyes ain't good. He's got dyslexia, bro. Come on.
No, I can't see all the way up there. Come on back down here.
Oh, no, I can't see either, bro. He's John Cena.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all watch your
Don't try me.
stream.
Which one? With the Fortnite one?
Yeah,
that was earlier today. It's still going, actually. Yeah, you're right. Nah, but do you think they're gonna win, bro? They're not gonna win on purpose. They sell like every time, bro. They're gonna,
Each blow affecting his
so, like,
equilibrium.
they might even go to sleep.
Ooh, got caught with a punch to the face.
Well, you telling me you can't get a win on Fortnite?
Shit.
Punishing power slam. And I just think the constant attacks to the core have caught up to him. The body has just been gradually falling apart to this point.
I would not know.
They got both stuff, but I think they're playing OG. I think it's regular. Yeah, it just came back. It just came out.
Andy, I was just about to say you playing a dangerous game. Like you playing with some hella fire, but he ain't got shit.
Suplex imminent. The Viper in bad shape here.
And Orton needs to bring the match back to his pace. Boom.
Measuring it up one more time.
Hey, no, what
Just
color
got
is the
reversed and
heavyweight
everything.
title?
Look at him. Fuck this stuff up more than anything. Kipped up. He finna. Oh.
For him to get back into this match.
You said what, bro? Oh. Blue, I believe. I can't remember. I think it's blue.
Stirring back to his feet, but he might not know where he is.
Stop gloating and put your attention back to the match. Down with force. Big match, John. Cena giving no quarter. He turns it around. Uh-oh.
Weezy, I don't know why you want to fight me so much, man.
Well-placed punch, ugly, but effective response. Cena with a reversal. Both competitors showing how well they know one another.
April 1st.
Next Thursday, I think. You talking about this one? You talking about this one, right?
I think it's the 27th.
Usually it was my birthday last time. This time my birthday fell on a Monday. Though.
He must be asking himself if continuing his work that is the pain too much. He's endeavoring so much. I guarantee he
Hell
will
no.
quit right now.
420 is Easter, man.
My birthday this Monday coming up.
420 is Easter. I'm gonna be loaded in church.
Look at this. Effectively targeting the arm.
So you don't live that life.
And the Viper scouted.
Shit.
I'm glad I don't drink myself into oblivion like you do sometimes.
Oh shit.
What you talking about?
Now you judge.
Series of kicks.
Hey, you just judged me. You judged us since smoking is lame for lames and shit.
I still got my faculties. I can drive.
One more reversal. Talk about evenly matched here.
I'm not
Yeah,
one
but
of
here
those
he
leading
goes,
causes of
right
death
into
in
the corner.
vehicles, though.
Yeah, no. Drunk driving is, though.
Drunk driving is.
Yeah.
Where's Cena gonna go here? What's he gonna do?
But, yeah.
Oh my God. Cena.
No.
Second
Y'all losing now.
Oh, he reversed it too.
He got it. He got it.
I don't wish
The last time I checked.
Great counter there.
Cena's out of it. John's in peril here.
Time to reverse the secret. Trying to warn you, man. Because what you might do with your body affects other people. So I know it's a double one.
Things you do with your body might affect other people. Like you affect
Yeah, I know.
people
It's
right
like
now.
that.
Put your attention back to the match.
It's like that. That's why I don't. That's why I
I
don't.
don't know what that was about. I don't know what that was about. This man. Okay.
Hey, who the fuck is certified Yizzy? Who the fuck is that?
Yazan.
That's y'all out here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's him.
Certified Yizzy?
Yeah.
It's Yazan, nigga, but yeah, that's him.
Y'all out black?
Arabia.
Hey, he worked at 7-Eleven.
He a sand nigga, bro. What are you talking about? This nigga at 7-Eleven, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy.
Oh, shit. Oh, wait, he grown? Or he a child? How old is y'all?
Fuck.
Anybody know y'all?
I don't know.
And he'll leave the ring for this next stretch.
They packing academic.
I don't know. I don't know. Probably almost 18, but I don't know. Bro. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Staggering to his feet, but he won't like what's coming next.
Why would she do that?
Counters the Viper's attack.
Whatever you can do, I can do better. Counters on top of counters.
He's not white.
Pulls their opponent.
No, that boy, that 15-year-old, acting like he's gonna get a stripper to come fuck him.
Makes him pay with a counter.
You can't play like that with white folks.
Impact.
Yeah. Go ahead. Dial it back. Go back wrestling. Go back wrestling.
I mean, you can joke like that with me, and that's like.
Here come the punches.
Now we see
Shit, you could have done that whenever I was fucking seen you.
powering up his opponent into position.
He could have had his way with you, huh?
Yeah, he could have did it.
Outside the ring now. He has no need to rush.
Now, do you think he should go to
Okay,
jail
he's
for being a
re-entering the
pedophile
ring.
if he did that, since you invited him? Now, that's the question.
Look at the look on his opponent's face, Cole.
Right.
He can't believe it.
He
Connects
just-
the fist to the face.
What you mean
Great
for what?
counter.
You said he could do whatever he wanted with you. Oh, okay. You right.
No, I need you to speak in specifics.
Taken up in that area. Something
Bro,
needs
you
to be
said
done.
man could do
You have
whatever
to
he
show some
wanted.
remorse at this point, some compassion, and end this.
Right.
He said
No,
a
you,
man can do what they want to do with him.
He didn't say that.
look at dog.
Answers back on him.
No, I try to take off. Like, we gonna beat the shit out
Hey,
of him.
nah,
What the
man.
fuck you trying to talk? Like, we wasn't even asked to do that. Why you gonna start talking? What even asked him?
I cannot with these niggas, bro. This nigga Kaz came right in on cue. The nigga.
You sure you didn't?
We was really gonna let you survive a little bit longer, Don, until we realized you was trying to gain some alliance in that bitch.
I wasn't trying to gain nothing. I was a one-man army. I'm a one-man army. I didn't need no team in there with me to do what you were doing.
The first thing before Oedipus even got out there, he was like, "Come on, Oedipus, hurry up." Damn, that's what we on. I'm like, damn, Oedipus
Ain't nobody.
What do you mean?
Nah,
Come on.
I ain't do
Is
nothing.
he directing alliance to be formed? So that's
No.
damn.
It wasn't nothing. We just didn't cross paths. I was trying to stick on the same person, either what's his name, Yuli or Greatness. That was only in Quaz. I fought them. I didn't get the cross paths with Hove and Oedipus. I didn't get the cross paths with him because every time I fight every time I had a stumble on one of y'all, here come Dead One Glazer.
Taking this one back to the ring now.
Yeah, brother's keeper, Don.
You are not alone in your shock, Cole. We all thought that was it.
Hey, fuck.
Let's get us
So
some
can he take advantage?
I ain't got
Reach
that.
out, refocusing.
Where that's the
Where you going?
Yeah, I got some other stuff.
No telling what's underneath the ring tonight.
download.
Leave her at
Tables.
combo. Like, come with your best.
Be looking
your
for a
best
neck breaker
shit.
here.
That's not bullshit. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. What's so funny, dude? What's so
He wasted no time kicking out there. What a
Cause you got that belt put on
strength
your
this
ass
late
last
into the
time. I'm talking,
match.
what time? What time?
You try to pull that bitch again.
I work 12 hours a day.
Reversal. Can they go on the attack?
365. I don't have time to play games like you little boy. Sorry, I'm not good at a video game. I'm sorry.
Look at this, going counter for counter. Quick exchange, reversing the reversal.
Sorry, I don't run a league like mine. You know,
big kick to the
where I
gut
gotta play
and a
the game.
thunderous forearm to follow.
When I play the game. When I play the game.
You just played.
I'm playing Tuesday and Thursday. Next time, remember, you can't do nothing with him.
Hey, dog, when I dominated you, like, when you was up on my shoulder, what was you
Press B.
thinking? Like, when you was up on my shoulder. Dog, when I had you up on my shoulder, yeah, dominator. Yeah.
I ain't listening to you.
Looking for a fight here. He has a task at hand that prefers to be showboating right now.
If I would have won that, niggas would have I would have immediately turned for the Universal.
He's turning the tables.
Bro, we really should have pushed me in the left side. But you had to piss me off, bro, in the middle of the match.
You pissed me off, man. You had shit fucked up, man.
Y'all all pissed me off.
We was trying to get quiet, so a little bit too fixed up. Hey, look, Clutch was trying to hurry up and give me a back.
In the electric chair, can they somehow counter?
Hey, oh God, I wanted that to go out that bitch,
Orton setting his sights and lining him up.
He ain't got no big skin. Good what you get into. I gotta tell this nigga, let's jump Odyssey, bro. This nigga's not going. Like, he really tried to.
He was on. Nigga was. I think he was stuck. Y'all was watching his ass for that bitch too.
I'm like, I'm appalled.
Cena got caught with the reversal.
You ain't seen me shit, bro. I'm not in the Discord, though.
Telegraphed that one and delivers a blow to the gut.
Cena stays off the attack.
Catches the leg.
Damn.
Game changer. He's got the target.
Should I buy Beast Gohan for? Is it worth it?
Hell yeah. He asked me, though.
On the shoulders and a slam.
But that's because you
And all that attention that was placed on attacking the torso seems to have paid off here. That systematic breakdown could become the deciding factor. Randy Orton, backbreaker.
Already in the street smoking dope. AK-47.
Ooh, what a damaging blow. And the corner he goes, a perfectly placed target.
Nah, not really.
Had that one scouted.
That shit is not gonna get us out the hood.
He's outside the ring now. Hope he's got chopping the elbows. He steps foot in the ring again.
I'm hearing away. Yo, what's up, bro?
Did Wood ever make it down to your place?
Bro, what you
Huh?
Dawn, you know what I'm talking about, Dawn.
The fucking conversation last night. I said, would it ever make it down to your place?
I told Dawn about that too.
You on that shit again? Alligator ass and shit.
What's going on during show day?
You see that shit in his face, what?
All the time he wants.
This shit had to be more.
Moves outside. What's the plan here?
I don't hear you.
This shit had to be more. What the fuck? Yo!
Shot to the face, gets him out of the spot. The Apex Predator taking command. The attack
Nah, what's up? What call is that? What the fuck do you want, boy?
These two showing how scouted they each are.
Because I'm a grown ass man, and that's just how I felt at the time.
You want Sammy?
Sammy? What the
You
fuck?
want Sammy?
No, I thought you said some other shit. Hold on,
No.
Parker, look at him.
Oh, shots by the back. Oh, I'm just bored, dude.
Yep, I'll take Sammy. You want to trade?
One step ahead there. Showing some extra scouting, knowing how to answer a counter with a
Fuck you, Vortex.
You can hear the happiness in his voice.
What the?
Hey, you know what? Vortex thinks he's smart. He be trying to warn motherfuckers up. He's like, cool. He's so angry.
flurry of strikes.
Hey, what?
Cena.
What'd he say? What'd he say? Oh, so you want to be my motherfucking friend now, huh? Friend now, you got
You gonna break?
Let a nigga.
Let's take our resume. Good shit.
No.
Oh, that's what Ed was doing?
Cena's no stranger to big match moments, but he clearly thought that would be all she wrote.
What?
Treasure.
Randy Orton, backbreaker.
Come here.
Welcome you here.
Oh, saw it coming.
Tired of hitting Haluva kick.
He's taking this to the floor.
What's wrong with Haluva kick after Haluva kick?
I'm tired of it.
Did you only hit one of those in that chamber, by the way? Only one?
And Cena retaliates.
You're tired of it, why the fuck are you saying me again?
He did, and it was the first one out. It was the first one out in the chamber. Oh, wait, no, hey, break. Who pinned you? Who's the one that pinned you?
You never beat me one-on-one. I don't give a fuck.
I don't care. We started that thing. We started it, though.
I don't give a fuck
Yeah.
what you did. Most of you can't beat me one-on-one.
Every maneuver being returned.
What you mean? When he did not? Didn't he hit the?
Qualified.
Did
Qualified.
I seen the pedigree? Didn't he hit the stomp?
No, he didn't hit the pin.
Cause I remember it got distracted. I know. Yeah, I remember it's in a way. It was like 2 times. Was it? Man, leave me alone.
I ain't gonna lie. Combo, he hit one. Combo hit one.
No,
Y'all talking about combo, right?
Fuck up out of our match, nigga. No, he didn't.
He said, "Get the fuck up out of our match."
When did he hit it?
He didn't hit that motherfucker.
I watched the bitch.
Could have sworn he did.
When?
I can't.
I don't know. It went. I don't even remember what I ate for lunch.
I remember him trying. I don't remember him hitting him.
Yeah, I remember it would have been. Yeah, it was 2 times.
He tried 3 times, 10 times before they got it, but that's all right.
I can't remember. Doesn't matter.
Put the weed down.
He qualified. It is what it is.
No, because I hit like 10 times. I'm like, I don't know if I qualify on this.
Every time some shit crack off, they fuck down. Like, nigga, get this shit right. Weezy been ran over there 3 times.
Yeah, they keep fucking with me.
Fix it, bro.
Just to get this shit right.
Looking for a scoop slam, but from behind.
Inverted DDT.
You can go for a minute, ain't it?
Stop them in their tracks with a kick to the gut. Jumping neck breaker.
So I got off that stuff last year.
And hit him with a shot to the face.
Welcome to my world, buddy. What rank are you right now? I'm back at silver, surprisingly. For now. I was 1 win off of silver 1, now I'm back down to almost silver 2 again. He's fucking blonde, man. What do you want?
So I'm stuck in bronze. Because I don't care.
Switches it back around.
Oh, shit.
I just don't care. I don't give a
I
fuck.
played through last season, the Midnight Skin, hit gold, and touch this again.
This is where you want to go to?
That's right. I ain't playing right now.
Oh my God.
Where you going?
Anything at this point, bro.
And he heads out of the ring. No countouts, no worries.
Peculiar, who do you
Early,
mean?
bitch.
Damn, Weezy.
What are you doing, Weezy?
You taking his outside now.
Oh, tell me who you use.
Oh, I was like, what are you doing? I didn't know what you was doing.
Tank,
He's
I
so
got
Randy
Strange and Magneto.
Boy, can't do it.
Yes, I got Namor, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. And for healer, I got Cloak and Dagger, Mantis, and Invisible Woman.
Right to the arm. Trying to find his bearings, but it looks like his end is near.
He's doing a whole lot of gesturing, and it could cost him. Driven into the barricade.
I'm better than you.
I mean, shit. I mean, even if they were trash, I mean, shit. I mean, that's what I'm.
Orton hooking his opponent. Backbreaker.
What the fuck is?
Something's in store for him. Nice backbreaker.
Andy, I have a question for you.
Oh, that gets reversed on Randy.
Okay, okay.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Randy Orton just daring his opponent to take their best shot.
We're going there.
It's Delta.
It's not Trav. It was Delta.
It's Delta. I never knew this.
Hey, my bad, guys, my bad.
And now here come the punches.
I just haven't really seen my phone, bro.
DDP is breaking down a bit.
Like he's Matt Riddle. My bad.
Did you say you thought that was me playing soundboards, bro?
I thought it was, man. When the first one cracked off, you had moved. I was like, this nigga down here playing this.
Talk about this.
He was at this moment, he knew he fucked up. That one was funny, though.
And it's reverse pain for that mistake.
Going counter for counter. Now can it be capitalized on?
Boom. What an uppercut.
Catches an uppercut.
That kick will stop you in your tracks. Devastating kick. Off. Forearm just raking across the face. Nice counter by Cena. Fast press. Fast press. Yes,
I'm blocking. Oh, come on.
Andy's able to miss. Nicely done. Boom, did you hear the impact? Orton never saw that coming. Look at these kicks. Boom.
I'm about to rename my fucking.
That's
Randy Orton.
Nice backbreaker delivered by Orton. Positioning himself. Closing
I've been
in.
putting that to us, bro.
Cena telegraphed that.
You trying to pop the weakest man?
ACG, you joining or no?
Uppercut. That'll cost some teeth. Stop gloating and put your attention back to the match. And Cena retaliates. Up they go.
That'll jam your tailbone. Oh no, he's in the line of danger now.
Oh, hell.
I'm going to the nearest bridge to my house.
Close, Brady.
You gonna fall snot.
Actually 5 minutes away.
I think it's 2 attempts now.
Cool story.
You gotta videotape Brady.
Did you really I did this collab Cyrox because I know my team's fucking ass.
Exclamation mark.
There we go.
One of the best to ever do that move.
Fast press. Fast
This is what niggas said in qualify now.
He's lining him up.
If I go back and watch the film, I find out qualify. I get whoever wins this shit gets tripped.
Looking to end it here. This could be it.
Cyrox is so easy to only watch the match.
Yeah, no.
There's 2 of them now.
Getting that shoulder up now is
I
huge.
just got raped.
Evades the attack.
What? You got what?
Whoa, what?
Then you said
He got
rape,
fucked
then.
earlier, man. There's a lot of crazy shit.
Belly to belly. Nicely done.
Able to give him the slip.
Devastating attack.
Tight head song there, huh?
Doesn't have a clue what's coming at him.
Hey, Weezy, I was
trying to hit you with an attitude
And
adjustment.
this one might be headed ringside.
Heading back to the ring.
Overhand right lands. Haymaker connects.
I really didn't mean to do that either. I don't know what it.
How did I grab the table?
What just happened? What the hell?
I don't know, but he's in your way anyway, so you can't even roll out.
He's grabbing the table. Alright, which one? Let me watch out.
Oh, Henny trying to pull his shit on him.
Drop it, drop.
It lagged you out.
Cut off with a kick to the gut.
Each competitor showing they've done their homework.
I'm playing bad with Psylocke. I might go fucking.
Oh, you play Psylocke? Oh, yeah, you suck. You too bad at playing Psylocke.
Actually,
Then back to Randy Orton.
You didn't.
I was worried that you insta-lock him. Like, no hesitation to any other character. Like, yeah, Psylocke for me.
Easy bringing it on home. Oh no, he didn't. He reversed that bitch.
Ooh, shit.
Oh my fuck me.
For the 1,
Did you fall off the
2,
map?
Weezy. Jesus Christ. And the new fucking IC champion. Damn. Off of roll up reversal.
Good stuff, Henny.
Wheezy.
Good game.
You actually went out like that.
No way.
Yeah. I dictate my own destiny.
Bro,
Dictate my own
bro,
destiny.
what?
Take your ass back to catering, nigga.
I dictate
I
my
don't
own
even know what
destiny.
that means.
Shut your lame ass up.
Why you ain't join, Fletch?
But I'm joining. Damn, he didn't let me join. Shit.
Weezy's World has been discontinued as of today, buddy.
Oh, right there, man.
What does that mean? Elaborate what that mean.
Hold
I
on.
dictate my own destiny.
Like, what the fuck, bro?
He's so mad. He talking about Mania.
He trying to say.
Oh,
He called the match.
He
No.
dictated his own destiny.
He dictates who walks out the title. If it ain't him, it ain't Combo.
Bro, like, what the fuck?
I don't think that's what that means. I don't think that's what.
Nah, I don't know what it means, but he dictates it though. Who knows?
I don't
There
know
wasn't
what that
much I
mean.
could even do that round.
I thought that mean
know
like
what it means.
I thought no. This is what I really think it mean. You get greedy and then it bites you in the ass. That's what I kind of think that mean. Like in a way.
The first ranked bot lobby I've ever been a part of. This is nuts.
But young. It happened to the best of us. We all done lost a match like that every now and again. GG though. Let me make sure. What's his name? Henny did. Off the reversal, bro. He didn't hit defend. He got it off a fucking reverse. Yeah.
It's a communication error, bro.
But yo, that was
go
it
from
for today. Let me
Psylocke to
see.
Mr. Fantastic. All right.
Let me make
I'll
sure
let it
that was
rock.
everything on the match card. Sinbad.
Exactly what that's exactly what I had in mind, Combo.
Not
That
here.
matches what I had in mind.
Guess he was
No,
right.
no bullshit. No bullshit.
Guess
That's
he
exactly
was right, bro.
when he said dictate, exactly what I thought. If you don't win, you don't win. Simple as that.
I don't get it.
That sound like some sucker shit, bro.
It sound like some Ouija shit.
Just whatever I got.
Yeah, I asked him to elaborate. He said it. He said, "Oh, I don't know. He didn't say nothing." But that was it for today. I'll see y'all on Thursday.
He
I'm
dictates his destiny.
They got
Z
Moon Knight, be
dictates
careful.
mine.
That's so
At UWA.
He think it's wavy, I make him fear me. You little bitch, nigga, do you hear me? Where's this bitch, nigga, do you hear me? I got my belt, niggas can't get near me. Touch your ass when we step in the ring. Match look good while I'm doing my thing. Feel like clay, I need a ring. Show up every day, I got like, bitch, get out your feelings. Like, Leon, I heard you was lying. Kicking a bum, you better not try it. I be the new nigga ass without trying. I be this, that's so bad, here's crime. Like, nigga better stop crying. Copping my brother, I know he on time. His bit around my waist right there, I be shining. Like, you see a girl on my waist. These new niggas better get out the way. Like, I'ma just find where he stay. Better go on mute before I kick off his face. I ain't gonna lie, I'm super fan made. Niggas be talking and judging their face. We see my homie ain't judging no face. Work, shit, show up every day. Every shot I be making it lit. Kick off his head if he talking shit. No shit, bum, bitch. They can't win a mess, so why they talking shit? Nigga a loser, get off my dick. Nigga, get off my dick. Nigga a loser, get off my dick. Keegan, stop making trash ass fit. Oh, they want a problem? Like, I bet I got me a fit. They down my name, but nigga, I'm a tick. They be down my body until they get kicked. Don, tell these new niggas to chill. Like, they don't not know it get real. Got hit with a scoop, get out the field. Bro, this nigga ass was talking the real. Like, what? Nigga got put on the list like 4 times, but he still be talking shit. Ulysses, get off your knees. I already told you stop sucking that dick. No diddy. These niggas hating on John cause he lit it. You WA, we ran the city. We reppin' the brain, you know it get go.